Welcome, everyone. I'm calling to order the Arts Commission meeting for October 21st, 2021. And let's begin with the roll call, please, Louise.
Absolutely. Chair Tosher,
I'm here.
Commissioner Golden,
Here.
Commissioner St. James Lopez,
Here.
Commissioner Chisholm,
Here.
Commissioner West. And I think you may be on mute, Commissioner West.
Not anymore, but I'm here.
And Commissioner Steiner. Commissioner Steiner, can you hear us? I'm showing Commissioner Steiner present. However, it seems that we're having some audio difficulties here.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
There you are.
I seem to, I'm sorry, I'm having some network issues, but if you can hear me, I'll continue trying to resolve these.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, Louise, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Of course. Go ahead and stand. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of
United
America,
States of America,
and to the
to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
liberty
with
and justice
and
for all.
for all.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
And we will open this up for public comments. The Arts Commission will receive comments from the public at this time for items not on the agenda. Other than for emergency items on the agenda, no response will be given or action will be taken during this period. Matters raised at this time requiring commission action will be placed on a subsequent agenda. When addressing the commission, please state your name and address, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Thank you. We have our consent items next, and the only item that needs our consent are the minutes of September 16th, 2021 regular meeting. And I'm going to open it up for comments on the minutes and corrections and adjustments. So I guess I'll begin. I have a few. And maybe I will cover something that you thought of too. It's under discussion and action items. She also noted that a total of 9 grant applications were received with a total amount of $55,095. It's $49,095.
Okay.
So that's correction.
Okay. Received.
Then under Public Art Committee, Golden, it should say that the first change was this just kind of clarifies what we're talking about. The first change was in relation to the term public art jury. Then potentially changing it to the committee or panel. That's technically what it was, and it explains more clearly what we were trying to do.
Okay.
Then on a vote on that item, I'm down as a no vote, and actually I was a yes vote. And then number 2, the subject mural ordinance jury selection. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines down, it says noting the processed work well. It should be process, not past tense, whatever. Okay. That's what I've got. Anyone else have any changes, modifications, corrections? Nigel?
Nope, I'm good.
I thought you said your votes were incorrectly recorded.
What was, I'm not looking at it at the moment. I'm trying to find it on my computer while I'm talking. What was my vote for? This was for to change the word jury to something else. Louise?
I'm looking for your no votes, right?
So, I'm sorry. Were we referring to subject to mural ordinance jury selection process? Is that the votes that we're looking at?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm seeing for the votes on that, everybody is yes. We're going to go ahead and have the Public Art Committee write out the protocols, and everybody voted yes in that.
No, I know that, but I
No,
think
no,
it's-
we're talking about the changes to the mural ordinance. I'm sorry.
Okay.
he might have voted no on changing the term, what we called it, instead of calling it
Yeah.
public art jury, we were going to call it either mural review panel or mural review committee.
I believe I voted to leave it as jury.
Okay, then that vote's correct. Oh. You voted yes on the copyright. The other, well, that's all that it could have been. Yeah, okay, never mind. Then if there are any other corrections or modifications to the minutes, call for a vote on approving the minutes. Do I have a motion?
Can I just jump in there for a second? The language, the specific language, as I recall it, and I apologize for not having it. I'm trying to find it. It ain't there, so I'm not going to worry. I'll just ask you. The language was for the protocol to go back to. Oh, I can see myself in the TV behind Luis. I'm waving at myself. I'm a hand talker. It was to go back for the Public Art Committee to confirm the process. Can you read that language to me, Luis?
You voted yes.
Yeah, but I just want to know what the language was specifically on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the action was that the Public Art Committee write out the protocol for the selection process and bring it back to the commission for review. Motion by Commissioner Gerber, second by Commissioner Steiner.
Yeah, I voted yes on that. That's fine. What I didn't vote for was for it to be the process to be changed wholeheartedly and in total, but to be reviewed.
Yep.
And for the Public Art Commission to come back with us with their updated protocol, and my understanding based on the current protocol. Right? Okay. If that's what it is, understood it. I'm good.
Okay. So then do we have a motion to approve these minutes?
Yeah. Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
This is a no-brainer, you guys. Someone may, all right, I
Okay.
approve. I move we approve the minutes for September 16th, 2021. Second?
I believe
Okay.
there's a second from Commissioner West, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, great.
Yes.
We'll do a roll call vote since it's Zoom.
Okay. So we'll share Chair Tosher,
Yes?
Commissioner Chisholm,
Yes.
Commissioner Golden,
Yes.
Commissioner St. James Lopez.
Yes.
Can't hear you.
Commissioner West,
Yes.
Commissioner Steiner.
Yes.
Perfect. And Chair Tosher, if I may, just for the record, just want to go ahead and note that we don't have any public comments.
Okay, great. And we'll move along to our first discussion and action item. I love this meeting because we get to hear from all the different, we get to put a face behind the applicant. We get to hear from all of the grant applicants, and I'm assuming they've started to fill up the waiting room, Louis?
Yes. Yes.
So our first applicant is Bob Kemper from OPAT. You want to let him into the room?
Absolutely. And go ahead and switch over here. And Bob, you have now been promoted to panelist and you're able to go ahead and share a presentation. Can you confirm you can hear me, please?
I can hear you just fine. Can you hear me?
We can,
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, well, my name is Bob Kemper. I am the CFO for the Ojai Performing Arts Theater Foundation, OPAT, as you know it. And first and foremost, I would like to thank the commissioners for their ongoing support for the community and its vital art projects. including, of course, the historical support of our organization. And this year's application process is particularly important to many organizations, including us, because of the myriad challenges brought on by the COVID pandemic and the inherent delays in our particular business and ability to be able to perform in indoor arenas or venues. As many of you know, we had intended to launch Harvey in March of 2020, and it would have been hard to miss with all the rabbits spread around the community, the painted rabbits. Anyway, we were forced to delay that, postpone that, and sort of mid-ticket sales. We'd actually sold a couple hundred seats prior to having to pull the plug. This has not deterred us from our responsibility to bring professional theater with all of its societal benefits back to the Valley. As described, I think in some detail in our application, so I won't belabor that. And with the help of the commission, we're prepared to launch our 2022 season, beginning with the postponed performance of Harvey in late April. And you can once again all look forward to seeing those 6-foot rabbits spread throughout the community. We will be following that up. And incidentally, a thank you to OSA who painted all those rabbits. We'll be following Harvey up with our production of One Man, Two Governors. It's one of the funniest productions in the history of Britain's National Theatre. And then, of course, our third production or event for 2022 will be our annual holiday show. The holiday show, incidentally, is still currently under design, if you will, but it's going to bring in some exciting new elements. I think my mother's already chatted with the city about some of these concepts, but we're thinking about doing it in the park or the bowl, introducing carolers and perhaps karaoke, holiday songs with the audience. Just lots of fun, lots of kind of new things, not the traditional Christmas story in the theater. The central question, I think, that we need to address, or what I'm addressing here, is why do we need help from the Arts Commission? And despite the fact, as I think I laid out also in our application, despite the fact that all of our sets are built for Harvey and paid for largely through grants, and including the grant that you all gave us at the beginning of 2020, other contributions and retained earnings being the other sources of our funding to get where we are. There are significant additional costs as a result of the delays of the production. And despite the fact that we're hopeful that the county will be relaxing restrictions for indoor activities, such as our performances, regardless, we know that COVID will still be lingering and that there will likely be additional costs associated with ensuring not only the compliance with county requirements, but going above and beyond that to ensure the safety of our cast, our crew, and our audiences. And in our 2022 annual budget, we have allocated $5,000 specifically for the year to ensure the health and safety of our events. And important to draw attention again to the fact that the application we're requesting the funds for is for our entire year of operations, not for a particular production. So we're going to spread that money throughout the year to help provide some additional funds, some of which will go towards COVID mitigation. Just as a side note, we, as you may know, have been using brown paper tickets for years to do our ticketing. Through March, we had, as I indicated, sold about 200 tickets, $8,000 worth, and brown paper tickets, because of the pandemic, is basically insolvent. So we will not be seeing that money from them, although we're doing whatever we can to recover it. Fortunately, we have received some assistance from the county, COVID mitigation. that's going to assist us in covering some, but not all of those funds. I know my time is up. So once again, I'd like to thank you for your time, for your consideration. I'd love to take any questions.
Open it up for questions. Raise your hand if you need Bob to answer something that you've been wondering about. I think, Bob, your application was very complete and clear. So if we don't have questions, I think you can attribute it to the completeness of your application and the clarity. So thank you.
Well, thank you. And thank you again. And my mother would have loved to have been here to participate in this. In fact, she was going to come if it was going to be in person. But anyway, she delegated to me. So she wanted me to send her regards. So.
Please give her our regards as well,
Yes.
Bob. To see you.
Okay. All right. Thank you all. You're done with me.
Please
I can take
do.
off.
Thanks, Bob.
Okay.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Bob.
Okay, and next, we should have Ray Powers.
Yes, let me go ahead and bring Ray in. Okay, Ray, you are now a panelist and should be able to go ahead and present. Can you confirm you can hear us, please?
I can hear you. Can you hear and see me?
We can.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Ray.
I just wanted to give so thank you for this opportunity. I know my application has gone through some iterations. I think at this point, Christine Steiner has hopefully provided you with the various updates. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate that she's done that. So thank you, Christine, for all your conversations and help figuring this project out. Just as a quick history to the Bells of Peace project, initially this came to me a couple of years ago, and I had spoken with Christine Golden with a simple question: if I wanted to put a sculpture to help bring more attention to Ojai being designated an International City of Peace, could I put a sculpture in Libby Park? And from there, I learned that it would be a precedent and be considered public art, and an RFP would probably have to go out and all of this. So it has stayed in the back of my mind. And similar to the mural project that you all helped me create on the school district property, in which Tiffany Morse simply said, I'd love to have a mural on that preschool. And I said, yeah, let me see what I can do. I was talking with Tiffany and said, I'm going to apply for an arts grant. And she said, what is it? And I said, I'd love to do Bells of Peace. And she said, oh, I was just speaking to someone in my office how I'd love a sculpture on the school district property. And I said, well, here we go again with some synchronicity. So I've designed this project called Bells of Peace, which is an interactive sculpture made of cylinder bells with a plaque with some simple words on it, which I know you've received, where people would stop and have some inner contemplation on what peace means to them, to the world, to their families, to our community, and dovetails with Ojai being an International City of Peace. I was also up at Meditation Mount with Betsy Sticks when the city was gifted by Meditation Mount the May Peace Prevail on Earth Peace Pole. That's been going on since 1986. And I was actually at the very first ceremony in Los Angeles when the International Peace Flag ceremony happened. So I've been involved with this for a very long time. I'm just getting a note. Okay, got it. Wow, that was fast. So what I have found out is the initial, and I don't know if I can share with you or you have in front of you the graphics. The initial mock-up I did was for in front of the school district property. I found out through Christine Steiner's diligence that is a historically designated landmark, and that would take me going in front of the HPC and getting approval, and because the lawn area as well as the building is a historical landmark. So what I've done now is I looked up the lawn area on North Montgomery, just around the corner in front of the classrooms. That's the latest graphic you had. And that is not a designated historical area, that lawn area there. So I'm wanting to put the sculpture at that location. I've spoken with Brian Akins of the HPC. He's emailed Lucas Siebert. He didn't hear back in time for this. He doesn't think there's going to be a problem with the new location, but he's waiting to get confirmation on that. So I'll open that up to any questions.
So Tiffany has approved this new location, Ray?
Oh, yes, that's how it came about. I met with Tiffany yesterday morning or the morning before, and we walked over there and looked at it, and she was—
Do we have something in writing that she's approved this location? Because we really do need a something written.
That would be easy to get. Yeah.
Yeah, ASAP.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah, I can do that.
Nigel?
Ray, thanks for your application. It's a beautiful idea. The concern that I would have is I understand there's a mallet that's going to be attached to this thing.
Yes, two, probably.
You know, yeah, all right. You know as well as I do that if it can be broken, it will be broken downtown.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering, firstly, how you plan on connecting it solidly to the structure so it can't be torn off, removed, broken.
Yes.
Additionally, what the mallet would be made of.
Yes.
Because clearly there's going to be people rolling through downtown, maybe at graduation time from Nordoff and various other schools, who may wish to pull over on the side and clank that thing as hard as they possibly can.
Yes.
And you know from cars running down through that street, that sound does echo. So I'm wondering if you can address those issues for us.
Yeah. And I haven't fully fleshed that out because I know I need to be speaking to the fabricators that are going to, actually build it. But, in terms of the chain, they have those chains for bicycles that are, I'm forgetting the name and the material, but they're pretty much impossible to cut through. And the mallet will also be a metal handle and then some kind of rubber ball on the end. I know for garden bells, that are in a private, they often use like a leather covered softball. But I need something that will be more weatherproof because it's going to be there. So I'm thinking of a hard plastic ball that would be adhered to it. And that's, because if you use a metal end, it'll just be too clangy. So I want something secure and hard enough, but soft enough to make a mellow tone.
Yeah, I think the question I'm asking is what you've gotten to is that the sound is important, and that instead of a clangy sound, it's
right,
a muted type sound that achieves the objective you want to achieve.
Yes,
the piece type of thing.
Yes,
I
exactly.
presume there's certain tones that you want to come out of those bells.
And there's all sorts of industrial rubbers and balls, and it's going to take some, just like the cylinders themselves, where I'm going to, even though there's only 3 cylinders on the sculpture, I'm probably going to have to start out with at least double that amount to be able to tune them, and I know which kind I need, but so they're sonorous. If it's one, it doesn't matter. I want them to be in a pentatonic or Chinese scale. So they each have to be shaved down and tuned, and the right kind of rubber to be found, the industrial material to be used for the mallet. So it's that it's harmonious.
And this structure presumably would be setting concrete?
Yeah, when I speak with the fabricators, because I'll see which is best. I'd rather not have a cement foundation. I'm hoping for cement pylons that would be underground and then bolt to the bottom of each wood post.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Smitty? and then Eric.
Hey, thanks everyone. I don't know. Thanks, Ray. I don't know how much is this for Ray or for our committee, but these interactive type projects are really cool. But I would venture to say that the sort of maintain. We've been handed these projects to go around our other public art projects in the community, and we see how important the maintenance of it is. And I suspect that the more something moves and is interactive, the more maintenance. We've seen that. So we should consider one where, this is coming in as a grant, but, the expense of maintenance is potentially more than the expense of the actual project over time. So let's make sure that we have a good procedure for getting this done. I think this thing needs done. I don't know if a grant is enough to get it done if it includes maintenance as well. So that's more of a statement. If someone else has a comment, or maybe Luis, but but I also know this property is currently being considered for other uses, and I wondered if we supported this project either through public art or through a grant. Would there be a way to move it or keep it or make the new owners respect it, that sort of thing? That might be. Those are my concerns. I know you don't have the answers, Ray. Thank you.
I have comments. Thank you for that. I have comments because those are discussions I've had with Tiffany already, because they were my considerations. My thought on the actual mallet part would be, maybe to provide a duplicate or triplicate mallets if they ever need replacing, like from the get-go, that those are there and they just need to be attached. In terms of location being moved, since it's going, my original metal one was all welded, but this is going to be bolted together. So it could be taken apart and moved if construction from the new leaseholders happen. I know the intention of Tiffany, just like the Matillo watershed mural, is to have it be able to be removed and then remain there. Because the preschool is supposedly coming down too. That's why I made that a removable mural. This would be removable too. I would hope the city would want to be involved because it is, for me, part of the International City of Peace designation that the city has embraced and put signs up as you enter into the city. And this isn't an extension of that. So I would hope the city would be involved if there's any cost in terms of maintenance. I can't imagine there's going to be too much cost involved in maintenance.
Okay, thank you. Eric.
With the lease, that is city-owned property, though, I think, Louise.
Before we move on to Eric, if I may, I
was just calling for Eric. Yeah, Eric, go ahead.
Okay. I'm sorry, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Good. So I wanted to respond to what Smitty said with respect to Ray's application, which is that he and I confirmed early on expressly that it was not a site-specific work. So that confirms what Ray said about the moving. And also with respect to Smitty's question about maintenance, because it's not the city's public, is a work that's on the school district premises and it's not a city entity, we would not need to be concerned about the maintenance.
Okay, Eric, you got a question or comment?
So yeah, I was looking at I just wanted to talk more about the sketch for this, and I had a question about what that was, and that are those trees in the background, or is that part of the installation? Also looks really cool.
Oh, Eric, do you have the actual mock-up?
I honestly haven't seen it, unless you're talking about.
It came today.
Yeah.
I have received it this afternoon, Eric.
Oh, I did? Oh, I'm sorry, you guys.
Via email.
By email.
Okay.
Well, to quickly answer your question, what you pointed to would be plasma cut metal oak trees that are in that space. I could share the mock-up if you want him to see it, but you have it.
Yeah, I'll have it. I can look at it right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the parts that are going to be plasma cut out of metal are the trees and the moon and Chumash sun symbols that are on top.
Can we share that? Can we screen share that, Louise?
I can if you'd like.
Yes, please.
Oh, I found it. I see it.
Okay, well, Marcy's still wanting to screen share it. So.
I didn't receive that in an email.
Okay, so are you able to see that?
Yes. Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so that's the original one in front of the school.
Okay.
This is the new location. That's on North Montgomery.
Mhm.
All right. And those are existing live trees? Or are those the
Yeah, those are existing live trees that are there.
and then the laser cut trees in front of them?
Yeah, these are the plasma cut metal trees that
Yeah.
would be adhered to the wood.
Okay.
And so those are plasma cut. The moon and Chumash sun symbols are plasma cut. And then I'll get the plaque made. Christine Golden gave me a great suggestion to go look at Carlos Grassi's plaque in front of his electrical box in Liberty Park, and I did that. So I'll find out from him where he got that made.
Okay, great. Great. Okay, thank you. That helps me a lot. Okay. Any other questions for Ray?
Yes, I think it's my turn for a question. And again, I apologize that my network is not doing what it should. First, I want to applaud Ray for his numerous efforts. He was truly between a rock and a hard place with a busy corner and a landmarked issue. And this new venue along North Montgomery seems to have solved that problem, on which he and I spent, what would you say, Ray, 2 weeks or so sorting that out?
Yeah. A couple conversations and numerous emails. Yeah.
It was. My question relates to a concern I have about cultural appropriation. Mm-hmm. And so you and I had a preliminary discussion about Chumash symbols, and I didn't see anything in your materials that explained how you see it appropriate to use symbols of specific Native American tribes, as well as what you describe in the materials as cross-cultural symbols. And I think we as a commission have a responsibility in sending this up to the city council to be certain that we've addressed all issues of cultural appropriation.
Mm-hmm. Well, to reiterate what I shared with you, Christine, is I did talk to Julie Tumamayat about, because one, we're good friends, and I'm always sensitive to co-opting and cultural appropriation. In fact, when I moved here in 1999, she was one of the first people I called to introduce myself and even ask if I could sing some of the songs from other nations that I knew. So she asked me to send her the websites where I got the symbols, so she could make sure I just wasn't making it up. And so I sent her the graphics and the websites, the URLs that I got the Chumash sun signs from. The moon signs are simple crescent moons, and that's the cross-cultural part, just simply because the moon, we're called Valley of the Moon, but also the moon is a symbol that's used in all sorts of cultures, as is the sun. But those Chumash symbols are from the cave drawings, various cave drawings of Chumash origin. So for me, verbally, I feel I got the blessing from Julie, but if we need to go further than that, we can.
Great. Thank you, Ray. We have a very tight schedule, so I think we'll need to move on.
Can I just jump in real fast there, Marcy, please?
I want to remind you guys that we'll have another opportunity to email Ray and ask these questions and also discuss.
This is 1 second.
In
Just
greater
Ray, you know that it is not,
November
Carlos
meeting.
Grasso did not
Go
do
ahead,
his signs. the city did the sign. So don't contact Carlos about the signage. Contact the city about that.
Yeah, Ray, you can reach
Ray.
out to me. I'm happy to go ahead and share information in regards to the black.
Okay.
Ray, for me, very quickly, is Julie Toomey is an important part of this, and I'm glad Christine brought it up. I was going to if nobody else did, but I'd like to see a confirmatory letter from Julia that she's comfortable with what's going on here.
Okay, I can get that for you,
I
sure.
agree.
Thank you, Marcy.
Okay. Excellent. Okay. Let's invite our next grant applicant in.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you, Ray.
And Marcy, if I can just jump in before anything else, because we can't see Christine, I think we need to assume that she's got something to say. So maybe we should call on her every time because we just can't see her put her hand up in the air.
Can you do, Christine Stein, can you do that thing with your Zoom where you raise your hand virtually?
I'm as you know, Marcy, I'm usually fully capable here, but I seem to be unable to do so. The fact that I can even mute and unmute seems as much as I can do here. So please, if you could abide by Nigel's suggestion and just cue me in, I'd appreciate that.
Sure. You can always speak up too, because I can hear you. All right. The next applicant should be Amy French from Focus on the Masters.
Correct, and I'll go ahead and bring her in now. And Amy, you are now a panelist. You should be able to go ahead and hear us. Can you confirm you can hear us, please?
Yes, I can hear you. And there we go. All right. Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi
Good
there.
evening, everybody. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us tonight. And you just want to take 2 minutes and give us your spiel on your grant, and then we'll open it up for questions from the commissioners. So thank you, Amy.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you. Yeah, I want to say thank you all for the work that you do in, your dedication to the arts. And we know we're all passionate about it and understand that. And it's important for us to work as a group to keep that the power of the arts going. So I'm the education director for Focus on the Masters Learning to See art program. We'll be going to the schools and teach usually 8 to 12 weeks residencies and focus on the artists from our communities. So especially when we're reaching out to Ojai and the students of Ojai, it's fun to let them know, about the artists in their community, because we always get those responses from them like, oh, you know her, you know him. And we know how important that is to have that sense of connection. And it's something very special. It's not just somebody on a book or, on TV or in the movies. And it gives the, people hope, kids hope that they could do it too. I'm sorry for my son comes in here and it changes quite a bit, the lighting. So the proposal that we have now is to really focus even more on, we always do social emotional arts. That's always integrated into everything we do, but then including the earth and having even more emphasis on that. And it complements the curriculum that kids have in school already. But what I'm realizing is what art does is not just what. A lot of times in academics, they teach what it is. And in art, we teach why it is. And art can do that in such a special way. And the way we have the curriculum set out, it's for a very simple lesson to begin with, because the students don't know us. And it's leaf printing, which is super user friendly. And also it's an amazing product that we see the veins of a leaf. So we're trying to set up the students from the beginning to have a positive experience, something that everybody can achieve, and then build from there in the lessons, nurturing their sensitivity, their trust in what they're doing, trust in their own observational skills, and then ending with this group project that will really be led by the students as we go. So we'll let them know what our end goal is after the 8th or at the 7th week, to get those seeds going, those thoughts going of where they might want to do an installation on their school property and how they might want to do it. And we can have a real collaboration with them so they have some ownership, and then really want to be able to put it into a place on school property where people can go by and hear about it. And I've talked to some of the teachers who want to be involved with this, and they said that they could get other classrooms involved too, maybe on a smaller level, little spiders going out for everybody to have a little piece of it, because we all do, clearly. And that's, the message I want to give those students. We're all here on this earth, and we have everybody has an influence, whether we're littering or using a, reusable water bottle, or however we want to do it, for good or for something negative. So I'm really proud to work with this program. And I do also know that Art Trek that's been in the schools over the years, some of the Ojai schools, they're not doing that this year because of struggling with funds. So that's another reason, it's so important. And, we can be grateful to have somebody like the Arts Commission and other supporters who help us bring these programs still into the schools. So
Thank you, Amy. Love hearing about that, your enthusiasm, and I can picture what's happening too in the classroom. So I'll open it up to questions now. Questions? Anyone? Christine Steiner, question?
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment, which is that I firmly believe it all starts in the classroom. And so thank you, Amy, for the grant and also for that description.
You're welcome.
Smitty.
I just wanted to echo that. Creating experiential art forms, especially when they're on our youth, is a great investment. And thank you, Amy. And they don't need maintenance.
Nigel.
Yeah, there's a reason why Coca-Cola advertises to children, and so does sugary syrups, and various other things that are terrible. Is because that's where stuff starts, and it's a lifetime. So anything that impacts people at the earliest opportunity in a positive manner, I'm absolutely all for. So thank you, Amy, for this. Hi, Julia. Thanks for this. I know what you do. I've seen it plenty of times, and I fully support, regardless of how this one turns out, I fully support what you're doing. So thank you.
Excellent. Wow. Okay. Well, Amy, so you understand the process. We meet again as commission next month, and then the grant amounts will be discussed and awarded.
Okay.
And you will be notified. The city will notify you, and then you can expect to receive a check in January.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Thank you. All
Thank you so much again for the opportunity.
Assuming that there's a grant awarded, I presume.
Yeah, right. Okay. Right.
Okay.
With that caveat. Okay. Thank
you very much.
Bye. Thank you, Amy.
Bye.
Next we have, if you want to let into the Zoom, the representative from the Ojai Community Chorus.
No, I apologize. I'm not actually seeing a representative from the Ojai Community Chorus as attendees.
That is
Connie Woodson, but I'm not seeing her on.
Catherine.
That's not Connie. It's
Catherine
the direct. Yes, it is Connie.
Catherine Pilster?
Connie.
It's Catherine. No. Well, neither is here.
No.
You never confirmed with us?
Yeah, they did.
we received confirmation. I'm just not seeing her on the
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the attendance list.
All right, we're trying to
What
reach
we
her.
can go ahead and do is we can continue on, and if she joins,
Okay.
I can let the
All
commission
right,
know.
we'll take the
I
next.
will mention, in case she doesn't join, that I think, Marcy, someone requested on my pack that they send the results from last year's grant, and I have it here. So.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Okay. Yeah, we need to get that to Luis. He compiles all of those reports, end of the year reports. Next, we have the Ojai Jail Artist Initiative.
Yes, and we have
Teddy
Elizabeth.
Nava.
Yeah, Elizabeth Herring will be joining. I'm seeing her here, so we'll go ahead and bring her in. Hi, Elizabeth. This is Luis. You have now been promoted to a panelist. Can you confirm you can hear us, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, we have the whole gang.
All here.
You got the whole gang, huh?
Absolutely. Hi. So thank you so much for the opportunity to present. First of all, we're really excited about the grant you're doing and all of the wonderful work you're doing for the community. And it's an honor to be able to participate. The Ojai Jail Arts Initiative is a multidisciplinary site-specific exhibition taking place in and around the historic Ojai Jail, which incorporates the work of a group of artists that all have really strong ties to Ojai and Ventura County, while likewise having distinguished themselves in the broader arts community. And it incorporates a wide variety of work ranging from more traditional visual art, such as painting and sculpture, and the work of artists like Gary Lang, to more experimental and conceptual work in sound art of mesh or installation work by artists like Vanessa Wallace Gonzalez. And we think this is a really wonderful opportunity to not just create increased connectivity between Ojai creatives, but also to further the Arts Commission's work of placing Ojai as a leader in the regional arts community. And likewise, it's an opportunity to call back some of the sort of, Ojai creative diaspora home and further that connectivity and community building as well. And we think that it is inherently like a really beautiful semiotic act to take a site such as the historic jail with its specific kind of social and cultural history, and also its aesthetics and chronology, and turn it into a creative and generative space where artists can pursue like really beautiful, innovative ideas. And we're happy to speak further about any of the specific artists involved or answer any questions. I know we have a limited amount of time, but is there anything you guys want to add? Sounds good.
I think that we covered it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll keep talking until you tell me my time's up, but it's like some of the artists, and yeah, I think, do I see a hand up from Nigel?
My hand is up, but I've got to wait to be called, Teddy.
Oh, sorry.
Nigel.
Yeah, this is a very complex thing that they're trying to do here. And it is fantastic, I think, to take something like the Ojai Jail, which I don't think anybody could put a positive spin on being in jail, and turn it into something that's functional and enjoyable for the arts. It's complex. The actual application is complex, and I know that this application is deficient in a couple of areas, and I'll take that responsibility on myself, that was not done. And whatever deficiencies happen to be in the application, we'll make sure we cure those in the next couple of days. But I would like for you to look at this project as if it were complete, because everything is there, and it certainly wouldn't be on their shoulders that there's anything missing. I'll take responsibility for that. So that's pretty much what I want to say there before anybody starts asking questions.
Thank you.
Christine Golden.
So Nigel, are you saying that you will be sure that within a couple of days, I mean, there's a number of things that aren't included. The applicants didn't submit a resume, which is required. The Glasgow Foundation agreement has parts that the city objects to, and those need to be discussed with the Glasgow Bailey Foundation and removed for the city to accept this. The grant snapshot as written in the application must be submitted as it is, the exact form. That was not done. And also they need to have a written agreement from the Historic Preservation Commission. It has to be a written agreement that we received signed by Brian Aiken that he has agreed to let them use this historic site. So I am 100% in favor of this grant. It's so exciting to look at it. And they did include bios from the artists, and wow. I hope it goes forward, but we need those 4 pieces and we need them yesterday.
Right, so I'll take responsibility for that.
But we're going to get them within a couple days.
I'll take responsibility for that, and I'll ensure today's Thursday. By the middle of next week, we'll have everything in order for the commission to look at. I doubt that anybody, Teddy, in your group is going to object to that. Some of the things we actually have, I may have sent you the wrong one in the hurry that we had to do this afternoon.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
With regards to the to their resume, I think what probably happened there was that there was a mistake with regards to personal resumes as against artist resumes. So that's an easy fix, and everything else is done. So I'll make sure, with you guys' permission, to say that we will have that all tidied up by the middle of next week.
It would be okay with me.
Yeah, absolutely. All those are very easily resolvable. And thank you so much, Nigel, for all of your help with that. And we apologize for the confusion with the organization and individual artists thing. There was some confusion there about how that submission worked out. And we're very sorry. We're happy to correct anything. And with Nigel's help, it will all be beautiful.
With regard to the Historic Preservation Commission, I do believe, Teddy, and you can confirm it right now if you can, or Elizabeth, that they have a letter from there. They just haven't submitted it to us, mostly because I didn't ask them to. And they are in Los Angeles at the moment. And when they get back to where that letter is situated, I'm pretty sure it's going to end up in my email box.
Yes. Thanks. I think that's absolutely fabulous.
Thank you. Appreciate your patience and understanding.
More questions? Eric.
Hi, so I'm really excited about this project, and I even wrote in the comments here, iconic. I just this is so cool. And I just wanted to say I'm incredibly excited about this. I think potentially having the Carolyn Glasso Bailey Foundation involved would be amazing as well. Their expertise. My one kind of question about something that I thought maybe I just wanted more information about was production costs, which there's a question mark here in regards to insurance and location fees. And I imagine with location fees, that's can be pretty, I imagine, easily figured out. But as for production costs in terms of, I don't know, when do you think you might be able to know more information about that?
I think we have a filled out an updated application.
Yeah.
Did you, Eric, did you get a black folder or with new?
So Eric did not get a black folder because I couldn't find your address, Eric. I've got one today. I think your address is pretty difficult to get, but Luis should have sent you the contents of the black folder. Luis, did you ever?
Yes, it would have been the same email that you received with Ray's photo of his artwork. Yeah.
All right. There is, in fact, Eric, a completely updated application. You're dead right, because that's one of the things that we did look at and cure for them. So we have got some more clarity on that. Thank you guys for doing that.
Yeah,
maybe when the package is totally complete, you can recirculate that, Luis, because I didn't get Ray's thing. I didn't get.
Yeah, so let me do this is when the packet is completely complete, again, with all the right stuff, I'll collate it and I'll get it to Luis. And then he only has to send one lot out once. He doesn't have to be dribbling stuff out.
Okay, perfect.
Eric, I apologize. I looked for 15 minutes for your house. I did about 1,500 steps trying to find it, and I found the ones either side of it, but I couldn't find yours. So
really weirdly populated house. But thank you for trying, though. You can call me if you ever get lost trying to find it next time.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Christine Steiner, do you have any comments or questions?
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
First, I want to say how exciting I think this project is to take an under-recognized, essentially unknown historic site and activate it with what's both traditional in terms of painting, tapestry, etc., as well as conceptual with the essence of the project itself, is to me so exciting and a part of where I think the Ojai creatives, to use Teddy's phrase, really comes in. My question, though, is what kind of PR do you intend to accompany this project?
So you cut out a little bit there. Did you say what kind of publicity?
PR. What kind of promotional activities will you do? Will this is that there going to be attention? This, I know all three of you are so known within the arts communities.
Yes. So as far as PR goes, I think we would definitely be orchestrating like a reaching campaign for the Ventura County art world, but also we're definitely hoping, of course, with the assistance of some of our artists, to reach out to more artists and community members in Los Angeles and further north to, of course, to Santa Barbara and possibly SLO. But when I'm saying this, what I mean is that we would like this to be an event that's also long enough, like about a week or so, so that people can come to Ojai and experience it as also they experience Ojai, and that like it's meant to be like the seed for a beginning of more art projects in this manner. And PR, of course, like in a more practical way, like of course will take place like on social media. We will design a website. We're going to have then also like physical print advertising and word of mouth and flyers and things like this. But is that kind of answering your question, Christine, or do you have more specific?
Yeah, and also I think we're going to reach out to all of our relationships with arts journalists at an even broader scale too. I think that this project has the potential to really like bring some beautiful attention even from farther reaching areas, you know, so.
Yeah, I agree. I think it does have that potential because it is so exciting and brings together so many different aspects. You did answer my question. Thank you.
Okay, cool. You're welcome. Thank you.
I have a question. Getting into the numbers of your project, it looks like what's the total cost of your project going to be? Is it the amount that you're requesting for your grant? So we would be funding 100% of your grant?
No, absolutely not. The grant is a portion of the funding for the project. Probably, depending on how ambitious where it goes, somewhere between like a third is what it looks like.
Something like that.
Well, our matching funds represent what the true value, I think, of this project can be, because our matching funds are over the amount that we're requesting. So there's a lot of donated time and work that equipment that we're relying on for this to come through, and that's already proven to be true just by working with some of the artists that we have included.
Yes.
And then the amount we're requesting at the moment would cover everything that we truly don't have donated to us right now. So we do need that money in order to adequately pay certain volunteers, or to, have a website won't come to us for free and things like this. Yes, covering insurance.
And some equipment rentals for some of the work and installation costs too.
Yes.
There's a lot of specific installation requirements in terms of not damaging or causing problems to the historic site as well.
Moving
Okay.
forward.
But I mean, Marcy, looking, I've spent a lot of time on this, so correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but it seems to be about a third of the cost.
Something like that, yeah.
About a third.
Yeah.
So my question is, following up, because we rarely, in the past, grant 100% of what's requested.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say, for whatever reason, you don't get 100% of what you've requested.
Mm-hmm.
How will you be able to proceed with your project? Let's say if we're only to give you a half or a third, or, I don't know. At this point, I'm guessing we discuss that next month, but what would you guys do then?
We have a couple. Also, sorry, you can follow up. We have a few. We have a few ideas in this regard. One is we do have alternative funding sources that we don't have locked in, but we're kind of pursuing in terms of donations and fundraising and support from other organizations. And so the first thing we'll do is see if we can fill in the gap with alternative funding sources. And if not, there are potentials to scale down the project or iterate it in a slightly different way in accordance with the amount of funds we can raise. So we're very eager to pursue this project. We really believe in it. And actually, all of the artists involved and everyone on the team, which is much broader than just us, has been so supportive and so strong with it that we think that even if we are not granted the full funding from you, that there will be other opportunities for us to pursue, and that by hook or by crook, we'll make that work. And if that does mean scaling back parts of the project, we're willing to do that. But first, alternative funding, is something that we are already looking into the possibility of.
And I think duration would be one of the first places we'd scale back the scope of the project rather than the number of participants or the size.
Yeah.
We'd probably take it away from 9 days across 2 weekends, which I think would be ideal. We give the most people the opportunity to see it, especially working people. But we'd probably scale it back to a single weekend or something like that.
And ideally too, we would consult with the Arts Commission and with you and your wisdom and ideas about what matters more to the community, et cetera, in terms of the right allocation of those funds.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Okay, that's very good. I mean, I think, well, I speak for myself, but I think I probably speak for everyone that this is such a creative, such a wonderful project. And we love planting these little seeds in the community of really creative and unique ways of bringing art to everyone. So kudos to you guys. Very exciting.
Thank
you.
Marcy, may I please?
Yes, I see your hand, Christine Golden.
I just want to note for the three of you that the Arts Commission will not get involved with you in terms of any of that. That's not the role we play. Nor do we want to play that role with you. So just know that that's up to you, how you use the funds. And that grant snapshot that we haven't received, it's so important that you fill that out, because that's how we know you're guaranteeing a certain amount of matching funds. It's not maybe we can come up with those funds, but when you put that down there, you're saying that you have already spoken to those people and they have told you that they will give you that. So for example, I read your narrative was fabulous. Your narrative really explained things quite well. And the grant snapshot, I think, will just be the thing that really helps us understand exactly financially what it is you're looking to do here. So great project, really good job on the narrative. I'm looking forward to getting the rest of the documents in. So fabulous.
Okay, Nigel, and then
Teddy,
Eric.
I think I'm going to address what you want to address.
Yeah, just to address.
Yeah, hang on. Let me, because I think I'm going to actually address it, so you don't need to. Christine, I think you may be missing a page or two. That grant snapshot is there. You may just not be in possession of it. So
what I received was not on the form. It's required to be on the form itself.
You may not be in receipt of it, but we've got that, so we'll take care of that. But guys, I just want to ask you this. With regards to additional funding, because we know, let's just be honest here, it's a lot of money. We have a certain amount of money that we can distribute, and there's a lot of people who want to get their hands on it. It's our job to be efficient and effective and appropriate with this taxpayer money that we're giving out for people to do the right thing with it. So would you agree with me that it is important that in order to achieve additional support from various people that you may or may not have hit up yet, the city is behind you in some way, shape or form to be able to go to those people and say, hey, the city is contributing this amount of funds and look, the city is supporting us here. Would you agree that that is an important part of fundraising?
Yeah, that's yes, I would 100% agree. I think it provides us with a certain amount of, in the eyes of people who would be investing in our project, legitimacy in putting this together. And also, the support, of course, would provide us with, I guess, what we would need in order to really appeal to public arts fundraising campaigns as well. So if the city's not behind us, then I think it would also just lessen the morale as well.
It would just make it harder.
Yeah, it would make it much harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Validate that.
Eric?
To be clear, Christine, all the in-kind donations and alternative funding sources that are on the application, including the page that I believe we submitted but may have gotten lost in the shuffle, is all that stuff is spoken for, 100% confirmed. The alternative funding I was talking about is not what is listed on that form.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. I remember Elizabeth saying that you'd have to pay for the website, and yet that was listed in your application as an in-kind donation. So that kind of confused me a little bit.
So the website itself, there are certain aspects. There's like, a graphic designer versus who might build a website versus the actual paying for of a website, which is separated. But we can, of course, further clarify. And yeah.
Fabulous. Sounds good.
All right. Eric, finally, Eric.
Oh, it's just a comment, which is that I feel like this project also has the potential, and of course, you guys, I'm excited for what artwork comes out of it. I think it has the potential to have really great social commentary, just like based on the location where it's at, and I think it could be just like a really important art project in general that speaks to a lot of different issues potentially. It being a historical landmark, and it just being a jail at the same time, and also, I'm excited to see that this project is really something that I feel like really brings in a new kind of energy to the Ojai art community that I'm really excited to see. I really hope that this project comes to fruition, and it's really exciting to me, and it just really like brings a smile to me, and that's all I have to say. Yeah.
I remember, Eric, when you brought this up in an Arts Commission meeting as a potential project that we could take on, artist in residency at the jail.
Oh yeah, that was a while ago. Yeah.
Well, it looks like it's happening in a way.
Can I just say this on the basis of what Eric says, because I think it needs to be said. And I've had this conversation with Teddy, is that there's a fine line between political commentary and social commentary, and we have to tread that one very, very carefully as a city organization. And I have had that conversation with Teddy, and I'm sure he shared that with his colleagues. But I think it's worth, as soon as we go and broadcasting here, that people really understand that.
That's a good idea.
And the city will have something to say about.
But if I may if I may clarify Nigel's point, we would be a funder / donor along with others rather than endorsing any sort of content, correct? So while I think that's a good note or caution to applicants, I don't think it would ever be viewed as a city project because it is not.
Well, there's reality and there's
the
perception.
city will have something to say about that, I think, and we should be guided by them.
Yeah. Oh, one question for actually Louise, who wears a hat as heading up the Parks and Recreation. Do we need Parks and Recreation's approval to use the jail? I know we got historic preservation permission because it's a historic designated landmark, but what about the city's Parks and Rec department?
I think it would be worth noting to the Parks and Recreation Commission. I think the first entity to be approved by is the Historic Preservation Commission, but I think it would be good to go ahead and give the Parks and Recreation Commission a heads up of what's going on as well.
Okay, great. Okay. Anyone else? All right, we need to move on to our next applicant. Thank you very much. Very exciting, you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have
May I ask who the gentleman on
Catherine?
stage right was there? Did I miss his introduction?
That was Matt Henson. You may know him from Bart's books, but he is also an artist and is with Teddy, one of the co-owners of the Basic Premise, the gallery that is on Ojai Avenue.
Okay,
so I'm
cool.
sure you've
Thank
seen
you,
Matt either at Bart's or
for.
Yeah. I missed his intro, or there wasn't one.
He had a
Hey, Louise.
haircut all.
Do we have the next applicant?
Yes, we do. And that's going to be Dina from the Ojai Youth Entertainer Studio. So I'll go ahead and bring her in. And Dina, you've been promoted to a panelist. Can you confirm that you can hear us, please?
Yes, I can hear you, and I'm going to start my camera. And
Hi, Dana.
okay, there we go. Hello, everybody. Good to see you
Hi.
all. First off, thank you. I sincerely appreciate this opportunity to meet with you all. It's very meaningful for us. I know that there are a lot of arts organizations in this community and a lot of projects, and we just feel really fortunate to be considered. So I'll just start my spiel here. My name is Dana Santoyo, and as with most theater people, I wear many hats for OYES. I have been the executive director in charge of development and fundraising for OYES since 2016, as well as the artistic director, working alongside my co-artistic partner in crime, Meg Seacott Kelly. And since then, we have produced and directed over a dozen musical theater productions for OYES and worked together to develop a team of quality educators and directors to support the growth of the program. I would say our musical theater program is largely focused on education and experience and personal growth and development for children and professionalism for children. I would say we do focus on acting and being on stage and bringing all the theater and drama skills, but we use those skills to facilitate growth and to facilitate skill sets such as learning to be on time, learning to be responsible for yourself, and learning to be independent and make choices. So a lot of our musical theater program is really based on child development and growth. Over the last year, like many theaters, our theater shut down, and we have been in a full hibernation since March of 2020. And I would say we're extremely fortunate to have had reserve funds to survive the year without losing our facility that houses the theater and the inventory. I don't know that it's really realized a lot of the time that OYES isn't just a program that operates anywhere. We're an actual theater facility designated for children only. So that is something that I think raises a lot of our costs and just something to think about. So this year we slowly started reopening our programs. We're keeping an eye on the COVID-19 situation, how it unfolds. We didn't start with our full-blown musical theater production because we wanted to just sort of see how everything would go. So our programs this fall, what we want to do for the spring is expand on the programs that we launched in September of this year. We have a Magic Movers and Shakers program for children in kindergarten through 5th grade. It's a new program that focuses on drama games and play and movement and music and choreography and a lot of bonding for younger children. And we have outdoor, part of the program is outdoors and part of it's indoors, so they get a chance to breathe and move around with mask optional. And the rest of it is indoors and they're masked. And we also have a new Shakespeare program. It's called Swashbuckling Shakespeare. And it's a study of Shakespeare's work with focus on stage combat. And the kids absolutely love it. I've never seen such enthusiasm for Shakespeare with kids. It's been very successful this fall, and we hope to build on that in the spring. We are also so inspired by the fact that kids like the Shakespeare program. We're sort of tinkering with the idea of developing a youth Shakespeare company through OYES, and we're really excited about that possibility. We've just seen so much. We've just seen them take to it in an unexpected way. They just absolutely love it. And I sat in one of the rehearsals and I watched it, and I was so moved by their focus. And there was no telling them to get it together and be quiet. They were just so focused and they really wanted to understand the language. They really wanted to understand what was being said, and it was just wonderful. So I'm highly inspired to do that, even though that wasn't in the grant, but that is definitely on the radar. Our other plans for the spring are a mini musical, and we are, oops, I just got something happened. Okay, am I running low on time? Okay, thank you. We have mini musical planned, Charlie Brown, and an intermediate musical theater skills class 5th through 8th grade. And we hope to just keep going, keep building, and then bring our full-blown musical theater program back in the fall of next year. That's it.
Thank you, Dana. I know that a beloved program, and it's been sorely missed because of the pandemic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been horrible. Don't bring us all talk about it. I'll start crying.
Anyway, thank you for coming. Nigel.
Yeah. Hey, Dana.
Hi.
I'll disclose that I know Dana personally, but what I'm not going to say is colored by that at all. I also know Meg personally. She was an employee of mine for many, many years. And if I still owned a business, she would still be an employee of mine because she's fantastic. But what I can say about OES is that they're fantastic. Over the years, I've been to see their productions, and they make a difference. We were talking a little bit earlier on about getting kids when they're early, and they absolutely do. And I know for a fact that for many, many, many years, they've been underwater, and they've not quit. There is no quitting these people at all. And I would like to see them continue if we can provide them help. I don't know if we can or if we can't. It's a tough year. A lot of people are asking for a lot of money. But if we're looking to move art to where it will have the most impact moving forward, then for everybody who's got grants in there, we should be really looking toward the lower end of the spectrum at this moment, I think, especially at this time. So Dana, thanks for your application.
Thank you.
And we'll see how that one goes when we have discussions next month.
Cool.
Anyone? Christine Steiner?
I just want to say thank you, Dana. Thank you very much. And I want to note that part of the purview of this commission is not just the visual arts, but also the performing arts, the musical arts, the theatrical arts. And it seems that you encompass all. And as I said earlier, with respect to a different grant, it all starts in the classroom. And so I have deep respect and admiration for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Eric? And then Smitty?
I'd also like to say I love the idea of, sorry, okay, I'm not on mute. I love the idea of giving the opportunity to people from all economic backgrounds to be able to participate in theater. And I think it's incredibly important in a place like Ojai, where it can be incredibly expensive, or even in Ventura County in general.
Yes.
And what an amazing way to, and like I think we were just talking about this with another grant applicant about how it's really important to get kids to, have opportunities to be in theater early on, or arts early on, in order to get them interested and develop their brains differently.
Yes.
Just thank you for the work that you're doing.
Thank you. And I do want to speak. I do want to just speak to that a bit. It is a tuition-based program, but our program is. We try to make it as affordable as possible. We have a lot of team members who need to be a part of it in order to make it what it is. But we do offer a scholarship program. I have not opened the scholarship program this fall just because we needed to get, back on our feet. But we do offer scholarships. We have a scholarship matrix that we sort of use, for families who are in need. We don't turn anybody down if they apply. I don't turn anyone away if they're applying for a scholarship. And I think over the past few years, it's something maybe $15,000 in scholarships that we've been able to do. I'd have to double check, but I just wanted to, address that and say, yes, agreed, 100%. Thank you.
Anyone else? Questions for Dana?
I've got a comment, and I'm looking for it very quickly while I'm looking through your very nice application, by the way. You had a percentage in here. I'll just ask you. You may not know. I'm putting you on the spot. that if kids don't get involved in the arts by a certain age, they never will by the time they've left school. I don't know if offhand you know what that percentage was, but it was a massive, massive, massive
I think
percentage.
it's 90%.
I wanted to say that, but I didn't want to say it because I
I
wasn't.
think it's 90% that statistically, if they don't do it when they're young, they just fear kicks in, you know, and you have to get over being an adult plus trying out the arts, you know.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'll tell you why that stood out to me, is because I was one of the 10% that did, and it was a battle for me to get on that stage and stand in front of people, and those barriers were not open to me when I was younger, and so I've lived the battle that 10% has to fight. Or that 90% has to fight. Sorry, I was one of the few that actually ended up doing it. And so it's real. We look at these things and they're words on a bit of paper, but I've lived this particular one, and it is a miserable battle. And so if we can get kids early, as Christine says, Eric said, and everybody else agrees, it's such a critical part of how we grow our community and how we grow this country. This is not a small thing. It's a big thing.
Smitty, did you have your hand up?
Oh, I'm just going to do more gushing about Dana. I assume you're still using Theater 150 501c3.
it was Theater 150.
Yeah, I
keep
remember when it was on the East End with Chris Notley, and it moved to the funeral home downtown, and you guys were there, and then you moved out. It's just none of those other things, Shakespeare or big people theater, survived, but your organization survived through it all. And so, one, to this Arts Commission and to the city, we need a permanent place for where arts can live that's city supported, and just as a little side story, we just hired as a backup singer for Smitty and Julia. I won't say her name, but a young woman who I met when she was 5 years old in your program at the at probably one of the first years that you did a play there too, and now she's singing with Smitty and Julia. We're taking her to San Francisco and Europe and everything. So yeah.
Fantastic! I'm so excited.
Yeah. Really great. Thanks, Dana. I probably gave you so much advice you didn't follow, and God bless you.
Everybody thought we were crazy. But you know, I'll just say, Meg and I got very lucky that we had the drive and the motivation, and when I saw that Theater 150 was birthed in 2001, and I thought, there's no way we want this organization, just as a nonprofit in the Valley, to just go away or to fall apart. And I just really wanted to apply as much business sense as well as art sense and child growth development sense to it. And we're just really fingers crossed and hoping, you know, we're just going to keep going. Let's put it that way. So there we go.
Okay. Thank you for coming, Dana.
Thank you so much.
You'll be hearing from us.
Okay, thank you.
Take care.
You too, thank you.
Luis?
Okay, next we'll have Brian Bemmel joining us, and I'm seeing Kara, his counterpart, is also joining us. I'm going to try to bring them both in at the same time. I'm not sure if this is going to work, but let me go ahead and try. We'll begin with Brian. And Brian and Kara, you both have been promoted to panelists. Can you confirm that you can hear us, please?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect. And that's Kara. Brian, can you hear us?
Wait a minute. Can you hear me now?
We can, yes.
Oh, great. Great.
Okay, perfect. So we have both Brian and Kara here from the Performance to Grow On.
The storytellers. So welcome, Brian and Kara. And we're so happy you could join us tonight and give us a little more detail about The program you propose that would involve Leyland Faulkner, he sounds incredible.
Leland.
Can't wait for that. So you've got about 2 minutes to
Okay.
give us your take on your
Sure.
project.
Well, like everybody's been speaking tonight, we've all shut down, during the COVID, and the schools haven't had much art at all. And this particular project is going to bring a world-class artist, Leland Faulkner from Maine, and he will do 10 different performances in the schools. And he'll visit all the schools in Ojai except for Nordhoff. And the bigger schools, he'll do 2 performances. Smaller schools, he'll do 1 performance. And then it will be followed and it'll culminate in a public performance at the Ojai Art Center. And I will tell you that in my 25 years working with performing arts with the Office of Education, Ventura Office of Education, and through Performances to Grow On, I consider Leland one of the very best of all the performers for schools. And one of the things I love about his work is we have so many kids in the schools that speak Spanish these days, and much of Leland's show is nonverbal. So it reaches out to everybody. So the show that he does is called World of Wonder. And Leland is a Native American from the Chippewa tribe, but he's traveled all around the world. He was an Army brat, and he's absorbed all the different cultures where he's lived. So in the World of Wonder show, he has a section that comes from Japan in which he does origami, and he comes out in a kimono and he does folding and brings kids up. They're part of the show with him. Then he has Native American legends, and he has legends that come from the Middle East. And the thing that he's most famous for is he's a master shadow graph artist. So he can make all kinds of animals just with his hands. And he projects these onto a screen. And it's truly amazing because the animals are very intricate that he can do. And he also combines magic in the shows as well. He's a fabulous magician. So it's a combination of a theater and a visual arts and storytelling. But the most important thing I think of all of it is it develops an appreciation of cultures from around the world. And during the week, every school will receive a special teacher guide called the Imagination Kit. And it's designed to supplement what the kids have seen so that they can actually do some of this in their own classroom. And it's a very detailed but simple guide for teachers. And it's been very successful. I've actually worked with Leland probably 4 or 5 times over the last 25 years. So I just consider him just a fabulous artist. Now, we have received some funding from the National Endowment of the Arts and the Western States Arts Federation. And our plan is to offer these shows for all the schools at a half price rate so that all the schools will be able to afford it. And we're going to have a public performance, and the tickets will be very reasonable. And the public performance is geared for families and actually all ages. His work just reaches everybody, no matter how old or how young you are. And that's pretty much the project.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
I guess our opportunity, us on the Arts Commission, our opportunity to see it would be the performance at the Art Center.
Yes. Or you can visit the schools too when he's in the schools. You just have to get permission from the various schools. You can see some of his work if any of you want to see more. If you go to YouTube, you can see some of his shadow work that's featured on YouTube. He's also performed at the Ojai Storytelling Festival in the past. And I can only say he's just a great human being and a great artist.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Christine Golden.
Yes, this time I'll be the one to say how wonderful it is to have yet another grant focused on kids in schools. And as a former elementary school art teacher, It's not always the easiest thing to present art to kids in school. So this kind of a program is just so important. And thank you, Brian, for thinking of the kids.
You know, Christine, I was an elementary teacher as well. I don't know if you knew that.
Were you? No, I did not know that, Brian.
Yeah. I was in the classroom for 22 years.
Oh my goodness. Art?
No, I taught kindergarten, second grade, and third grade mostly.
Wow.
And grades as well. And then I went on to become the performing arts specialist for the Office of Education in Ventura County
Wow.
for 2 years.
Thanks for sharing that. That's great.
Nigel?
Yeah, hi guys. We all know who Brian is, right? Brian doesn't do crap. Brian does great work. We've all been involved in the Storytelling Festival by being participants and going there. And I'm happy to see it back. You know, Kara's well entrenched in this community as well. She's a well-known teacher, a well-loved teacher, and that can only add to the quality of what's going to happen here. I have seen Leland's work before, and I have seen it on YouTube. And you know, I'll keep banging on this subject. Get them early. And if this is going to the schools, it's going to be positive. Then I can't see any other way that we shouldn't be supporting something like this in some way, shape, or form. Again, the proviso is we don't know how well we can support it, or even if we can support it. It's a vote. But these types of programs, I think, are where we really should be heading toward and impacting people as they move down the road. But yeah, Brian, I'll say it again. Brian, don't do crap. Brian does great work. He's back doing this and welcome in and helping Brian Carroll.
Thank you.
Christine Steiner?
Thank you. Yes, Brian, that was very interesting. Thank you. You mentioned that it will be all schools except Nordhoff. Does that mean all schools within the Ojai Unified School District or private schools as well?
No, just the Ojai Unified School District. They have first dibs on it. If some schools don't want to do it, then we'll reach out to some of the private schools in the Valley.
Got it. Thank you. My only question.
Okay, we haven't heard. Eric, do you have a question or comment?
No, I just wanted to say I've seen some of his work and it seems really, really, really cool. So thank you for providing this grant proposal for us. I don't think I have any other questions, but thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you.
All right, here comes Nigel again.
Just one quick observation is that travel, if any of you know me, and I think you all do, it is the best education you can possibly get. It's not always possible for everybody. So if Mohammed can't go to the mountain, let's bring the mountain to Mohammed in this particular case. Is that the experiences that this man can bring and share with these kids, I think is exponentially important.
Excellent.
Letting them know that there is a world out there
Yeah.
and should be valued. That's
Smitty?
it. Done.
Yeah, okay. And then Smitty. Can hear you. Unmute yourself. Yeah.
I
there you go.
didn't raise my hand, did I?
No.
Thank
but
you,
I-
Brian,
Opportunity.
You're welcome, Smitty.
for everything you do.
Okay. Great. Well, I think that's it, Brian. It's a well-written application and has me very excited, at least that much. So we'll meet next month as the commission and we will allocate our funding
Right.
and you'll hear from the city. So thank you for coming, Kara and Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Bye.
Hey, Louise, do we have anyone waiting?
Yes, we have Connie Woodson who has joined, so I can go ahead and bring her in here. And Connie, you have now been promoted to panelist. Can you confirm you can hear us, please? Connie, you have been promoted to panelist. Can you confirm you can hear us, please?
Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect.
Well, I just want to say congratulations on your promotion. I've been wanting to say that all night. Louise introduces everyone to the room saying, you've been promoted. So congratulations. Anyway, welcome. Thank you for coming. And
thank you.
We have allotted for each speaker 2 minutes to describe their grant and anything that you might want to include that you didn't include in your application.
I think the application was pretty thorough. We're just excited to be able to have the opportunity to sing together again. With COVID, it's been very, very difficult, and certainly not in the best interest of everyone's health to try to do that. So in discussing with the board, we're planning on starting again in February of 2022. And our theme is a circus theme with the circus traveling through the countryside. So I think it's going to be fun. And it's actually a show that we started before we had the COVID lockdown. So it's something that we've had a lot of participation in with the choristers, which is really exciting. So, but because we haven't been able to perform since 2019, where our funds, as with most arts organizations, has been very limited, and our ability to raise funds has been limited because it's usually through ticket sales, through grants, through we have a wonderful program of patrons who have really supported us so beautifully over the years. So we're excited about that. And, we want to be able to hire a couple of additional band members if we can. We want to increase the salary for me as a director and our accompanist. We also would like to be able to do a little more advertising through the Ventura County Star. They will do free advertising for us, but to have a real article, that would be an expense for us. And we're working on upgrading our website and our computer capabilities. So we would like a little help financially there as well. But it's primarily to support our concerts. And it's a very expensive proposition to put on a concert. We do 2 concerts in the spring and 2 in the fall. So that's primarily it. And we did, we sent out a test email to our choristers to see if everyone wants to come back, because when you have almost 2 years of no singing, sometimes people will say, oh, I'm not sure I want to do that. We had like 99.9%. Everybody said, oh yes, I can't wait. So that's very encouraging, very exciting for us. So that's really kind of it in a nutshell.
Thank you, Connie. Thank you. Now I'll open it up to comments and questions from the arts commissioners.
Sure.
So I'm looking for hands. Nigel.
Yeah, it's just a math question. Hi, Connie.
Hi, Nigel.
This is just a math question, and I'm looking for it again now, but of course I can't find it. But it was related to the cost of the space that you had. Now, from my memory, was it like $1,250 each time, or $1,250 for a weekend, or something like that? Is that what it was?
From the church itself, that the facility we use.
Yes.
I'm looking to see that myself.
I remember reading that $1,250.
All right,
yeah,
so
$1,250. I see it.
And I think it was for a weekend.
I think it's for the weekend.
Yeah, I think it was too. And
yes, it's for the weekend. I'm looking at the page. It's
I can't see it, but I think it was. And
I'm looking at it.
Yeah, the question I've got for you is very simple. Are you tied to that space? Have
You know,
anybody else, or is that a traditional space that you use for this because that's where everybody knows and everybody goes and they want to support it there?
you know, we used to perform for several years actually at the Ojai Presbyterian Church, and then it got to be where they had so many things that the church was doing itself that we were having a hard time getting our shows scheduled with them. So that's when we began to investigate available facilities for us. And it ended up that the Methodist Church it suited what we needed. It's a lovely space for us. They love having us there. So I think it's a good fit for them and for us.
Right, so you've
yes.
investigated them previously. When was the last time that you did that?
You know, I would say maybe it's 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's my only observation. Is that it sounds to me like we all know that certain things need certain environments. We
exactly.
But there's lots of environments in Ojai.
Yeah, there are.
So the only question I would have is that for me, looking from the outside and honestly not knowing what a typical charge would be, it seemed like they're charging a lot of money. That's the only comment that I would have on that. I'm not criticizing it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not supporting it. I'm just making that observation. So that's all I've got to say about that. But we love what you do. We all love what you do. You know.
Oh, well, thank you. We love what we do too. And I do think that they originally we were paying, I want to say maybe $1,000 for the weekend. And I think that their expenses have gone up. I think their church membership probably isn't supporting the church in general. So they're probably looking for ways to keep their facility going. And so they increased our cost, our charge.
Yeah, well, 100% of nothing is nothing, isn't
it? Yeah, so, that's right.
That's another reason to have a city-sponsored performance space for all our performing artists.
That's been talked about for how many years now? A long time.
Well, I'm going to talk louder.
The performance facility, I know that when I first started conducting the choir, that was being talked about. And where were they going to put it? And it was going to be great. And you know, everybody would be able to use it. And so we were all excited about it, and it never came to fruition. So, you know, but that's the way things go.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Christine Steiner?
I have no questions, but to comment a big thank you for what you do. It's so important.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I believe it's important too. There's nothing more joyful than singing or playing an instrument. Just music can change your life. And you might walk into a rehearsal feeling kind of like, oh, you know, I'm not sure I even want to be here tonight. I'm so tired, whatever. And once you start singing, you just do this amazing shift into complete joy. So thank you so much for just being aware of what music can do.
Well,
also for the listener too.
There's nothing wrong with being in the happy business, is there?
No, nothing at all wrong with that.
Okay, well, if that's it, we'll thank you, Connie, for coming tonight and getting so enthused about community chorus. We look forward to hearing you all again.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. And thank you for assisting us in the past. We really appreciate it. And so be looking forward to hearing back from you.
You will.
Thank you, Connie.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. think we got everyone, Louise, huh?
Yes, that's all.
That's all she wrote. Okay, great.
Everybody did a great job, didn't they?
What time is it?
It's currently
6:50.
6:50 p.m.
Ooh, wow, we went
Time to
over.
get to work.
We went over. Okay, so let's move along. This will be continued next month when the money is divvied up. All right. Next is Nigel and the awards committee. Do you have any updates for us, Nigel?
The only update is that we are sans a member on the awards committee. And I haven't spoken to Christine about this, but it is my recommendation that we forego the Hope Fraser for this year, which I'd planned to do, and push it to next year, given everything that we're dealing with grants and this, that, and the other for next year. So that's the only observation I've got. Christine Steiner, I don't know if you got anything to kick in on that.
Just perhaps that we could award it to you and be done with it.
I already got it.
I'm in complete agreement. I think we'll build this up again next year.
All right. Thank you for that.
Okay. Thank you, Nigel. And then Smitty, can you talk to us about the update on the 5-year goal setting meeting and if we have made any progress on figuring out?
I'm not going to say much, but y'all here, we'll have something by next meeting. When Robin left, it created a hole that I haven't filled yet.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you. And Eric, would love to hear about the website, what's happening.
Oh my gosh, you
Update.
guys. So I just spoke with Christina Golden and I met up, was it yesterday or was that 2 days ago? Anyways, we met this week and
Wasn't that a month ago?
time doesn't make any sense.
Feels like it, right?
So we spoke for a while, like the other day, and I thought that I was closer to being done than I was, and I'm very disappointed in myself because I was like working on it regularly, and yet somehow I was like, oh yeah, we're like almost there, and I was keeping everything on like private pages, meaning only I could see the progress that I was making. So I showed Christine like the things that I had done. And then we started walking through like page by page, like what we needed to get changed. And I'm personally having really difficulty with WordPress because I keep on making changes and then the pages get scrambled and then everything's disorganized again. So I'll make progress and then it like it's hard to describe, but it gets like image gets moved here. And when I edit something, it doesn't look how the final product looks like on the website. So I'm quite annoyed with that. But regardless, I'm going to keep on working on this website until it's looking exactly how I want it to be. Anyway, so there have been some new updates to the website that you can see already, but one of them.
So they're live, the ones that we could see? Are they live on the website or are they still privately?
Some of them are live, the changes that I've made. And I need to go ahead and just like make the things that I have changed to the website, just like make them live. Because I was being overly cautious and I was thinking, okay, well, before I make something public, I should like talk to whoever, maybe you, Marcy. But I think that the changes aren't like too huge that I'll just either tonight or tomorrow I'll just add them to the website. But you can see some changes right now to the website, which includes like one of them you can't see yet is the Arts Commissioners. Art Commission, or it's called Commissioners page. Basically our bios, so every can send in their bios and their photo. That all looks great. Great combination of people being a little bit more, I guess, lighthearted and personal. And then we have some like mine, which just feels like a cover letter. And so we have some great bios there. Most of the work has to do with the tours, which keep on getting scrambled oddly by WordPress in a way that's really frustrating. So I'm going to continue working on that until it looks how it should. And Nigel has been really wonderful about keeping tabs of my progress on the website. And I appreciate that, of course. And I wish I thought I was done, but anyways, Christine and I realized, no, I'm not actually. So I'm going to keep working on it diligently. put in several hours every week to get it to where it needs to be. I think that, I don't know if this is considered a new topic, but it's part of the website is the arts registry page that is there. That is.
Oh yeah, right.
Right. So I was going to talk today about because we were going to talk today about what should we do about that page, because it's been left fairly untouched for, or I don't know about untouched, but yeah, there hasn't been progress on it, and it's kind of a big undertaking. I almost feel like I need like an intern to like help with it if we were to continue doing it. So today we can discuss whether or not we want to keep it. We said not to make a report, and so I'll do it right now.
Did you contact, are you communicating with Wendy Barker at the museum? Because, she made a very generous offer.
Yes.
Okay. So can you jump in on that?
If I can, Eric, if I can just jump in here for a moment. My advice to Eric was that we dump it and that we accept the offer from the Ojai Museum because it is a massive undertaking. I don't think that it's anything that we need to be involved in. It occurs to me that if we have one person's name on that, we have to have everybody's name on that. And so I would prefer to push that over. That was my advice to Eric, and he probably was going with that advice. If anybody else has got any other opinions about it, then I'd love to hear them, but I don't know why we should have to undertake that on our particular.
I agree with you, Nigel. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm not just agreeing because it would like be more work, but also it's like it would be too much work even if the website didn't already need a bunch of changes. And also, I do feel like it's already been offered to us. I just spoke to Wendy Barker on the phone twice about this discussion, I guess, on whether or not, they were very kind to, they brought it up in a board meeting saying that they thought of, having their own registry, and then someone pointed out like, hey, actually the Ojai Arts Commission, I think they already have a registry. So let's talk to them first before potentially having this be an undertaking. So, I mean, I can reach out to Wendy and if everyone, I guess we have to go to a vote on this. I don't know. And then we can decide, but I think that it could be valuable to the community. I think specifically to, art dealers, to gallerists, to people who own arts related businesses, and to artists themselves to display themselves in a way that can get them more commissions, get them more artwork sold, have gallerists realize like, oh, like there's amazing artists already in the community. Let's like reach out to them via this registry. But again, there's so many artists here and there's so many arts organizations here. And someone would have to very regularly be checking their email. And I think that the Ojai Museum has a great website, and I think they mentioned saying they could use their volunteers. So it seems as if they already have like a program of people who might be interested, who already do volunteer at the museum.
Eric, does it make sense to you just to have a link to that page on our website?
You know what? It could be a link to that page, and I think that's a great idea.
Well, Eric, can you firm it up with Wendy then and saying that we accept your offer and we'd love to be able to link to your website, the registry portion of your website.
I don't know how long it would take for them to get that going, but I'm definitely going to reach out to Wendy, tell her, and it seems as if we're all in agreement to this.
Anyone disagree with this?
Anyone?
I just want to say that I do agree. It seems that having this registry causes more problems than it solves. It implies an endorsement. It requires regular updating, maintenance to the extent that would be difficult for us to undertake, and it seems unnecessary.
So, Christine, let me ask you this, Christine Steiner, and I'm thanks for kicking in, because I also feel exactly the same as you. And what sort of situation are we in if somebody says, I want to be on that list? Aren't we required to make a choice and put everybody on the list?
I mean, I think that's exactly the question. Are we going to put ourselves in the position of being judges as to whether someone merits the quote artist unquote designation? I think we don't want that. And so we would let anyone who requests to be on it, and then that would require regular maintenance. I did take a look because I know we looked at this issue a few months ago. I did take a look at what other jurisdictions do and noted that they don't tend to have local artists within a sort of registry system. So I think if there's precedential value for what others do, that's something we should also look at.
I agree. I looked at several commissions and I'd never found any other registry.
Yeah. Like I said, you know, the Rotary Club, when I was a member for years, had a arts hub where the intention was more on an education basis, where maybe parents can find resources for mentors or teachers, that sort of thing. I think I may approach the Rotary Club and see if they're interested in kind of, I know they have a website and everything. They call it Ojai Youth Connect, where they brought things together. It sounds more like something that a third party rather than government should create a hub for. And if I don't know who owns this, but Eric, maybe we'll talk.
You know, it occurs to me that we don't need to, when we're thinking about this, than just link into it and say, yes, thank you, link to it, and never think about it again.
Okay, so I'm just going to speak.
Christine's going to speak.
Yeah. Just a little history on this, because I think that, well, first of all, I totally agree. It's something that I don't think should be on our website. And originally, the listing was before the internet became a big thing and artists had their own websites. And the whole purpose of it actually was for artists to let us know they wanted to be on the Arts Commission mailing list. So that was the original purpose of having a list on the website. It really was for us to use if we were going to do a project, and then who do we mail requests for proposals out to? So, and I think it's just no longer valid. And let's let the library do it.
Okay.
And if I may, Commissioner St. James Lopez, I'm happy to go ahead and share a couple of tips and tricks regarding WordPress when we meet next week. So that way it can help with any edits moving forward on the website.
Thank you. That'd be really helpful, because I'm going to speak with Luis about the events page, which seems to have a specific, like, I don't know what it is, like an add-on or something, but I can't figure out how to use it. But I was talking to Christine Golden about this events page and how we could use it. And, you know, I would have loved, and we can discuss this, but I would have loved being able to like advertise like events that are going on like within the broader community. I do think we need to be careful though about how or who, or, you know, this is the part where I don't want to feel like we're a governmental sort of commission. So I don't know if we should be advertising events that are going on in Ojai that are like too specific. I think like greater things that everyone joins in, like Ojai, I don't know, the theater festival or the Playwrights conference, I mean, and the Ojai Music Festival. I think that those are things we could post on the events section, perhaps.
Perhaps city supported events.
Yeah, you know,
then links to everything else. You know, you can link to Ojai Hub or wherever. I think that may be the way to go. But yeah, I think we've got the same problem when we start supporting specific events that aren't city led.
Exactly.
Luis, does that make sense to you?
It does, yes. So my recommendation would be any city-sponsored events would be appropriate to go ahead and link. And then, as you mentioned, Commissioner Chisholm, everything else we could just go ahead and link to, like the hub. It just makes things a lot easier in that manner.
And I think even the events page could include like Ojai like Arts Commission meetings like this one that's I think particularly particularly important because of the grant applicants. You know, so anyways, that's what that is for. The news section, I think that's needs some new articles probably. There's some, anyways, Christine and I are going to meet again in, I think we decided 2 weeks from now. to go over the website again. So we're gonna keep on having these conversations.
And
'Cause
just to clarify that the only thing I'm going over with Eric is the public arts sections.
Yeah.
However, it was noted that the pages have been lost for all of the other committees. And Eric, were you not going to ask all the chairs to send you a write-up for each of their committees? Because there used to be a tab for every committee and then a description of what that committee did. And there was a timeline. In the case of grants, there would be application forms in that section. You know, it depends on the committee. So like Nigel, for example, would write up about awards, and Smitty, you would write up what you're doing, maybe about the piano, arts education. And Christine, you would write up things about our collection, about the city collection. Maybe you would do something on the latest acquisitions, things like that. So I'm not doing that with Eric. The only thing I'm doing is the public art section with Eric, which of course is a lot.
Yeah. And, no, I don't know what happened, but maybe Luis, you might know, or James Hahn knows, but when I didn't switch to a new template, but I believe it was James Hahn's, and I don't want to assume, and I could be totally wrong. But there's something happened between the transition from one template to another, and I think I was just wanting to make it see how it could look if it was slightly different, and then something happened in that process where we lost a few pages. Which is why I've been asking James. He gave this really great link to how to be able to see how a website used to look like. So I'm hoping that I can.
Yeah, we can look into it. We can look into see.
I don't know what happened.
About recovering any lost
there's a way
pages.
to recover these pages that have been lost, because it's just a really big undertaking to figure out like what happened.
Yeah, absolutely. We can definitely go ahead and look into it. And
it might not be such a big loss, Eric, because most of the information was really outdated.
I know.
It listed people who were commissioners years ago.
Yeah.
So it might not be such a big loss, and maybe getting fresh information from the current chairs is the way to go.
I think so too. I'm talking like specifically about like the Paintbox project photos, like that got lost for some reason. But so that's something that's valuable that I can get a hold of. Thanks.
So Eric, if I can say to you, I'm available to you to help you in any way I can. If you need photographs, I'm happy to go take them. If you need whatever you need, just contact me and I will get you the information when you need it, as quickly as you need it. No problem with that. Can you give me, or can you give us, I'm sorry, a reasonable estimate with the understanding and the proviso that you don't know what you're missing at this point? Can you give me a reasonable estimate of when you think that we can get this thing up and running? Would that be Christmas? Would that be New Year, January, the end of next month, before the next meeting? Because I know that the previous time frame we had probably wasn't reasonable, but that's because none of us knew what was reasonable. We may be getting a handle on what's reasonable now.
Right. I think that based on the conversation Christine and I had the other day, I would say that I'm going to say Christmas. I really want to, and I'm not going to like dilly-dally on this. I'm going to work on this every week.
It's better to I
want to give myself enough.
So if it's Christmas,
I don't disappoint myself and everyone. Okay, because I've already messed up on like disappearing. So I'm gonna work on this. I'm gonna say Christmas time.
Well, let's work toward that.
Yeah.
But if it seems that we're falling behind a little bit, the best thing you can do is just keep us in the loop about it.
Yeah.
Let us know. We'll lend a hand if we can.
Whatever is
here to help.
what's stymieing you or whatever it happens to be, and then at least we're on the same page, and we can push together forward. Because the last time I checked, we're supposed to be helping each other here, and so that's what I'd like to be able to do for all of us to do to get you. We know that this is a big project. Bigger than you probably anticipated at the start. So let's just make sure that the lines of communication are open and you tell us what you need and we'll try and get that. And instead of communicating with 5 other people, just send it through me and I'll know who to send it to and get that information to you, if that makes sense to everybody else.
Yeah. And yeah, it just doesn't seem like a big undertaking, but it's just like a weirdly big undertaking. So anyways, I'm gonna thank you, Nigel, for those words of support. I'll reach out to you and other committee members. And like, like Christine Golden said, I would love help with just like, if you guys have some amazing new developments in your own committees and you would love to talk about them, please let me know and you can include them in the news section. Just so people can see that the kind of work that we're doing, and not everyone knows the great work that we're doing. And it'd be great just to display it and so people can appreciate.
I think the truth of the matter is, Eric, is that 95% of Ojai don't even know we exist.
Yeah,
right? We need to change that. And part of the reason you're not getting information from the commissioners is because we don't know that we're supposed to share it. We don't know that we can share it. And even if we do, we don't know where it's supposed to go on a website. Mm-hmm. So I think having that conversation about what the website is and how we can push information through it, that's the starting point for everything else. So the website is the critical component, it seems to me, in all of this. So we've got a solid website. And then we can push everything else through that.
And not to, beat this to death, but the whole idea was that when you went to the website, you could see each of the programs that the commission runs. Oh, they have an awards program. Oh, there's a city collection. Oh, there's a grants program. So everything had its own button. And then when you clicked on that button, you could get an overview of what that program was about. Mm-hmm. So that's what seems to be lost now. And the only way Eric can do that is if each of the chairs send him the paragraph, the write-up of what that program is that you are the chair of. And you can use your handbook to get a lot of information to kind of get you started for that writing if you're kind of like, oh God, what do I say? It's in your handbook.
So Eric, could I ask you to then send out an email? If you don't know who the awards people are, the awards chairs are, ask Marcy. She'll give you a list of all the awards chairs. If you can tomorrow send out an email to all the awards chairs and just ask that question, tell us what you're up to, tell us what you do, tell us how you're moving forwards and what your plans are, then that will fix and resolve that problem. And then I think on the basis of this conversation, we all understand that moving forward, as we do stuff within our committees, if it's newsworthy or information worthy, we can automatically push it to Eric. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I will say that Eric knows, and now I know that a website is not this thing we make and there it is. It's a dynamic thing. It's changing all the time. I finally, with my business, found someone, and they're not based on what they can make and build, but their work is based on what they can keep up to date, because this thing is changing all the time. And Eric knows that too. And I don't think as a commission, if we really want this cool, living, breathing thing that shows us what we do for the city of Ojai, it's something we have to invest in.
Yeah, well, I don't disagree with you, Smitty, but I think there's a difference between a website and social media. And I think what you're probably addressing is social media. The website doesn't have to be updated every 2 minutes. Correct me if I'm misinterpreting what you're saying, but I know that part of we have another committee that deals with promotion and what Marcy can tell you. And that's not what we're asking Eric to do. That what you're talking about, as I understand it, goes through a different committee in a different direction, which is going to update all of the social media stuff. Did I misunderstand you?
No, but I guess, we're going to make a new art tour. We're going to add something new to the collection. We're going to announce our grant things. We're going to have a little report about our mentor program. I mean, it changes every month. It's just, and that's the beauty of what we do. And it's a moving thing, and it seems like a full-time job. That's all.
Yeah. And another point about social media, which is that I've reached out to a few past commissioners to see if anyone knows the login information for, and literally no one has it. So I don't know what we're supposed to do with this issue. I personally think we should just create a new Facebook page. Yeah, because I don't know. It's Facebook is a giant monster that, and we can't get a hold of a customer service person.
Yeah, they have a little section on Facebook where you put your actually like your legacy indications, like when you die. I was going through my Facebook pages. There's a lot of dead people, especially after this COVID thing. So let's kill the one we have and start a new one, because that's.
Eric, can you send me a message tomorrow, and I'll have a look into that, see if I can't fix it.
Yeah. Okay. Please.
I'll forget between now and tomorrow morning. But if you just flick a message to me, I'll try and find that. Is it the same issue with Instagram? Do we even have an Instagram account?
No, I don't think we're allowed to.
Oh, okay. Oh, Lewis is shaking his head. All right. Are we allowed to have a Twitter account, Lewis?
At this time, the commission has been
Donald
granted
Trump had a
website.
Twitter account. How can we not have a Twitter account?
The commission has been granted a website as well as a Facebook page. Those are the two two media sources that the commission has been granted. One of the things I would recommend most is getting the Facebook page back. I know that I have tried as well contacting Facebook. They used to have a really neat feature where it was called the claim a page, and you can literally go and claim that page back. But as Commissioner St. James Lopez noted, all the previous admins on that page have disassociated themselves with it, so there's nobody associated with it when we can't claim it, because again, Facebook no longer has that claim a page feature. But yeah, Commissioner Chisholm, if you have any ideas, we definitely would welcome those ideas to try to reclaim that page.
I might not have any different ideas than one that you guys have already tried, but I do have a really cool English accent, which really works quite well sometimes. And but we'll see how that one goes.
Did you try PASSWRD password?
Eric, we'll talk about this over the next few days, and we'll see where we go. But Eric, can you tell me, or maybe Lewis, how many followers are on that page?
Oh.
You're looking now, aren't you?
Yeah, I can go ahead and look into it.
If there's like 12 followers on the page, it may be mute. Right? We may just not even have to worry about it.
Yeah, I can.
Unless there's a few thousand followers on the page, it's probably not even worth worrying about.
I can tell you in just 1 second here.
Maybe you guys can email each other and all this. It's just so late. I'm just thinking that maybe, can we move this along? I'm not hearing anything new.
Okay, there are 724 people who have liked the page.
Dump it. That's a new one up.
Someone write an obituary for it, and then.
Yeah, dump it. That's a new one up. We're done.
That concept.
Christine Steiner, have you got anything to add to that?
This will be continued, and Eric will move forward. So we'll get updates in subsequent meetings. So thank you. Thanks, everybody. Then Christine Steiner, do you want to update us about the City Collections Committee?
Thank you. I have no update.
Okay, thank you. Smitty, how about arts education? Anything new to report?
Oh my goodness. There must be a lot, but there's not. But what I do want to say is Commissioner Robin, who retired recently, has left a hole both in my committee and in the commission. And I was curious as to the city council's plans or intentions for replacing her, because maybe Luis has something to say about that.
I know that we are recruiting. I'm not too sure on the specifics where we are in the recruitment process, but we have shared an ad to fill that void. As far as like specific committees, that would be a little bit different than having a different commissioner join the meeting.
Yeah, we're supposed to have 3 though, right?
I update everybody, Smitty.
Christine told me we're supposed to have 3.
Huh?
It's not required to have 3. That's just been historically that there have been less than a quorum, so that's 3. But some committees have worked with 2. You can work with 2, no problem.
Okay.
Interim.
All right, so I'm going to update everybody that the city ran an ad seeking new applications for the vacancy on the Arts Commission, and we received 1 application, and then we're going to re-interview a previous applicant. And I'm actually doing the interviews on Wednesday with the mayor and Councilmember Souza Francina. So that'll happen Wednesday. And hopefully one of those two, the mayor will select. So I think we'll see.
So the process is that the mayor selects and then maybe the council votes. Is that how that works?
Yeah, the mayor, one of their city council members. Well, yeah, it's the mayor's responsibility. The mayor selects, yes. I can
And
say
council has to confirm it.
prefer, yeah, and city council will have to confirm it.
And
But yeah,
how soon can we expect to have a new commissioner?
well, let's say we've got a good applicant Wednesday. You know, it happens in a matter of days, and then they have to be sworn and all of that. So fairly
And
soon.
Marcy, is it correct that the only representation our actual commission has in that decision is the chair of the commission, you?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So we don't have anything that,
You know,
we can't submit names or anything like
it's not
that.
on the agenda to talk about this, and I really would like to get back to the agenda. It's getting later.
Okay. But anyway, that's the way it's been. That's the way it is. We would have to have the city change the procedure for us. We don't dictate the procedure. So anyway, that's the way it is. All right. Next is we're going to get a report regarding the jury selection process. And Christine Golden is going to lead us through that.
Luis, can you put up the handout on the screen?
Sure thing. I'll go ahead and bring it up. If you'd like to go ahead and get started, it'll just be a second for me
I'm
to
going to
go ahead
wait
and
for
bring
you to put the hand up.
it. Okay, sure thing. One moment. It's just going to take me 1 second.
Sure, no problem. It's the pause that refreshes.
Feed the dog.
I'm feeding him right now. That worked out pretty nice. I like the release.
While he's working on that, let me just tell everybody that for the next tour, art tour, I'm looking for a celebrity, an Ojai celebrity person. So please suggest one to me.
Well, what I would like to suggest, Smitty, is that you please will talk to me before you do, because the West City tour is not set nor is along the way. And we need to have a discussion before you do those, please.
Okie dokie.
And just wanted to confirm that everybody's able to see my screen
it's
here.
fabulous. Thank you, Luis.
Mhm.
Okay, so Luis, you're in charge of scrolling down. I'll cue you. Is there any way to show more of it right now, to show the whole thing, not just a section of it?
It's very sunny.
Yeah, there you go. That's perfect. If you could just keep it there, that would be great. All right, so this is in your packet. So if you'd like to look at it in your packet, you have a hard copy of it. And what the committee, or what I did, was because I was the one who knew the selection process, the way it ran for the Paint Box project, and for the most part, the way it ran for the Ojai Imports mural process. There was a glitch in that, but other than that, this is the process that was not adopted, because it really is the task that you, the Arts Commission, asks the Public Art Committee to do on your behalf after you have nominated / selected names to serve possibly on a jury for any kind of public art, whether it be a mural or another kind of public art. So I wrote that up and I sent that out, and I asked the two members of the Arts Commission to send any ideas they had for suggestions. So that's what we're going to present, or what I'm going to present to you now. So the italicized sections in blue are not part of the process as it now exists, and we are going to discuss each of those and see if any of you have any comments on them. So first, the first step is that sometimes it happens only by email. It depends on when an application comes in. If it comes in right before an Arts Commission meeting, then the request would be made at an Arts Commission meeting. But we do everything we can not to hold the process up for an applicant. So if there's not an Arts Commission meeting in the offing, we send an email out to all of you and we give a description of the project and ask you to nominate candidates in each of the open slots. And those open slots are a community member at large, one, an artist, one or two, depending on the project, and a professional in the arts field, and that can be one or two. Usually that's two. So arts commissioners are asked to email nominations. I'm reading right from number one. A description of the project is provided along with the positions open for nominations for that project. The Public Art Committee is given a priori approval to fill the open slots from commission submitted nominations. And again, the reason for that is because otherwise the applicant has to wait for another Arts Commission meeting for all of you to say, all right, we agree that you used our names. Because all we're doing is using the names that you have given us. We're not adding any names of our own. I don't add any names to this. The Arts Commissioner who's serving on the jury doesn't get to add a name. So it's your names, and we are playing with them and say who's available. This one is, this one isn't, this time, that time, whatever. So the past commission said, don't come back to us. Don't make the applicant wait for an entire month. There are names. We nominated them. We know all you're doing is the task of assembling those names in a way that works. So we give you a priori permission to do that. Doesn't have to come back. Okay, so one of the suggestions was that we add to sentence one, arts commissioners are asked to email nominations, having first confirmed with nominees his or her interest in serving on the jury. So that's a suggestion that has been made, that each of us would first call someone that we want to nominate and say, you know, I'd like to nominate you to serve on a mural. I know we're calling it a jury. It's not a jury, a mural review jury. Would you be interested in doing that? Any comments on that from my fellow commissioners? Is that something that you'd like to see us add to the process?
The only thing that I would add, Christine, is if possible.
Nigel, what was that?
The only thing I would add is if possible.
Yes, if possible.
If possible, I don't know that everybody's comfortable doing that. It is, in fact, something that I did prior to nominating people anyway, as a matter of course. I know that everybody, or some people may have a different opinion about that. But I believed, and I still believe, that it's respectful to ask people if they wouldn't mind doing that. I don't see any issue with regards to further questions, although I understand that people may ask you questions at that point, which are easily deflected. So I don't have a problem with it, as long as it's not an obligation, but an option.
If I may, I do think it should be an obligation. We experienced a problem in the last go round where a nominee had not been asked in advance. It caused embarrassment to the nominee as well as to the Arts Commission. So I do think it should be an upfront requirement that this happen. As a predicate issue, though, I do think that the commission charged the committee with coming back with an absolute process, and we did begin that process, but we didn't complete it. I would like to recommend that the commission send this back to the Public Art Committee to come up with an actual agreed upon process that we would pursue as a commission. I don't think it would take us very long. I think we would be able to.
All right, well, I'm going to continue now because we're not.
But I do think that line by line, when in fact the committee charged the committee to do so, I think would be a very reasonable way to go.
So I'm going to go back to commenting on what we want to add to the first sentence. This is not the time or the place to discuss your disagreement, Commissioner Steiner, with the process that I as chair used to accomplish this task. So I'm going to go back to this, and I agree with Nigel. I think it should be optional. If I were nominating names, and by the way, the embarrassment to the nominated member of a committee was not as a result of not calling them first. It was a result of having the paper publish their name because because two members caused an upset and had a meeting where the slate, which was not confirmed, was then published by the newspaper. So that's what caused the upset, not that the person wasn't called and told that they were being nominated, because quite frankly, they would never know that they were nominated unless they got a call from the designee of the Public Art Committee to make those calls. So that doesn't apply to this one. I think this is fine to add as long as it's optional. I personally would not want to make a phone call and say, I'm going to nominate you. Now, you might not be called to serve. Oh, why not? Well, someone else may be more qualified, or however you want to handle it. For me, that would be uncomfortable. I would rather just leave it to the committee to call the people who are on the, that the Public Art Committee agrees this is the first. Let's start here. And then if people aren't available or aren't interested, then we go to the next alternate level. Does anyone object to adding an option to have each of you, if you so want, to call first and ask the nominees if they're interested in serving on the jury? All right, well then let's go on to the next one. And the next idea is, and this came from last meeting, the last commission meeting, somebody said, well, we need definitions for arts professional, artist, community member at large. So I've added that out of respect to the commissioner who asked for definitions. And does anyone have any comments on that?
The second one, I don't have any opinion. I don't really have an objection, or if it's in, great. If it's not, no problem.
Okay, nobody else has any other, I can't see everybody, so I don't know if any hands are up. I don't know, Marcy, if you can see everybody or not. Well, let's go on. The third bullet there is to replace the current process, which is the Public Art Committee is given a priori approval to fill the open slots from commission submitted nominations, and to replace that process by saying the Public Art Committee chair notifies commissioners of the proposed slate for commission appointment per the ordinance, and the commission approval by return email is sufficient. So Luis, I asked Luis if this would be considered a vote. And Luis, can you comment on that?
I'm sorry about that. I didn't realize I was on mute, but my recommendation would be to go ahead and
No, I'm not really looking for a recommendation. I'm looking for you to comment on whether or not it would be a vote if the commissioners sent approval by return email. Is that considered a vote?
That is, sorry, yes, that is. Sorry, I
do that.
misunderstood the question. So yes, that would be considered a vote, and that, yeah.
Right, that's what you and I have told me. So that would require a public meeting, which means we would be in that same situation that we were in at that Friday morning meeting, where now a public meeting is being held and names are being put forward that may not be the names. This is what caused embarrassment. that somebody's name was on there, it was published in the paper, but that person wasn't available. And so we had to go with the alternate, which was great. And we had a fabulous jury. So I can't support this. I would really ask all of you to give us permission. We're only assembling a jury out of the names that you gave us, to have to come back to a public meeting and say, and then if those people aren't available, then do we wait a whole nother month and come back again? I mean, it never ends. At some point, and I really think I have to say this, it feels as though this has all come up because it's, to me, micromanaging a committee task. It feels to me like there's a lack of trust. You have to trust your public art committee. We don't have any agenda here. We're taking the names you gave us and we're doing our best that every one of you gets a pick on that jury. And then we're making phone calls. Are you available on Wednesday at 10? Okay, you are. Next person. Oh, you're not available on that day. Okay, so we can't use you. Now we're going to try our alternate and see, until finally, through phone calling, we have taken your names and in the most responsible, respectful way possible, assembled a jury from your nominations. The lawyer said that doing that was absolutely in accordance with the mural ordinance. There is no problem with doing that. You're making the nominations. They are your names, your selections. We're just doing the task behind the scene of assembling a jury that can meet at a certain time and place. And we're trying to do it efficiently to be responsible to the applicant. So in the case of J.R. Luna, to have to go back to him and say, I'm so sorry, but now we have to have a public meeting about this. Please forgive me. I know you're leaving town and you're not going to be. It was really awful to have to do that. And I would just ask all of you to leave this the way it is, because it works and it works really beautifully. That's my request. And if I sound like I'm begging, I am.
To be clear, if I may, the mural ordinance is different from the public art ordinance, and the mural ordinance requires that the commission make the determination. It can be very easy. As Luis said, a vote can be had by email. It can then be confirmed by public meeting.
No, I'm sorry to interrupt. No, a vote cannot happen via email. It has to be at a public meeting for transparency.
Okay. Well, then
I also want to say that you are incorrect, Commissioner Steiner. The lawyer said that the way we were doing it was absolutely acceptable. And you are not the city attorney. And the city attorney said the way we do it is 100% acceptable.
It is my turn to speak. We heard you. Thank you. It'll be very easy, for reasons of transparency, to call a quick meeting in order to make those determinations. I see no reason not to fulfill the essence and the letter of the mural ordinance in order for the commission to make the determination. Now, I serve on the Public Art Committee, and I agree with Christine that we are transparent. We're acting in the best intentions of the commission and of the city, but the ordinance has certain requirements for us to undertake, and I think we should do those as efficiently as we can.
I want to interject here that at the meeting that we had where Matt Summers, the city attorney, was present, he said that the method that we used to assemble that jury was totally within the spirit and the letter of the mural ordinance. So I guess you're disagreeing with our city attorney, Christine.
No, I'm not disagreeing with the city attorney. In fact, at two different places, he confused the two ordinances. I'm simply saying that for us, where we are instructed that the commission make the appointment, and I simply think the commission can make the appointment. It's very simple.
All All right, well, the commission is making the appointments. The names are coming from the commission. They are not coming from the Public Art Committee. And by saying, giving a priori approval is simply to assemble those names in a way that will work in a timely fashion. There's no reason for us to come back into a public meeting and name a slate that has not yet been called and confirmed. And that's what caused distress to a person, because the paper can be there and they can publish those names. That was not done with the Paint Box project. There was no issue. There was no problem. Everything worked beautifully. You know, this process works. It works beautifully.
Because
It's
this
fair.
person was
It
not
is
requested
based-
in advance. And we've taken care of that by adding it to sentence 1. So please
No, we
don't
did not
deflect the
take
main
care of it
issue.
by adding it to sentence 1. What we are doing, what you're asking us to do, is to have a public meeting and to talk about a slate and to say, do you all agree on the names that we put down here? And then we're going to go make phone calls and those names may change. Now do we have to come back and do that again at another public meeting? And then let's say the second slate doesn't work. Do we have to come back? It never will end. It is inefficient. It is unnecessary. It is the names that you have nominated, you fellow commissioners, you have nominated the names, you have selected them. That's what the ordinance says. You do the nominating, you do the selecting. The task for the Public Art Committee is to create a public art jury out of those selections and nominations. It does not have to come back, that slate, and have all of you say, okay, yeah, go forward with that. Why? Why would we do that when it already caused great embarrassment to the Arts Commission? It caused a really negative article in the paper about us. Why would we want to go back to that? Why would we want to do that? So anyway, what I'm going to ask now is that we move on from there and go on to adding down, you see below there by number 2, commissioners prioritize their submitted nomination if they so choose. And I think that's fine from my point of view. If when you send your names in, there's someone who you really, really, really would like to see on that jury, that you can indicate that for us. There's nothing that would ever prevent you from indicating that to us, but it's not written down in the process. I think it's really good to have this process written down for the future. When we created this process, and it was not my process that was created, it was a former commission and former Public Art Committee that created this process. It was meant to cover all times that a jury is needed. There is no reason to have a separate process to bring people together on a jury for a particular kind of application. It's the same process. You give us the names. Our task as the Public Art Committee is to assemble a jury from those names, and you give us a pre-approval to let us do that. So unless the entire commission disagrees and you feel that you would like to have it come back and have it come back, and it could come back for months, I don't get it. I don't see the reason for that. I hope that you wouldn't support doing that, but
If I may, I'm going to say again that the mural ordinance is different. It is specific. It is not the same as the public art ordinance, and it has certain prescriptive requirements, and those requirements are different from what's being suggested here. It's very simple to develop a process specifically for the mural ordinance, which relates primarily to private works on private property, and we need to be respectful of those differences. The city council was when it enacted that legislation, and we're charged with carrying it out. And I would urge us again to come up with a specific process for the mural ordinance, which is a separate ordinance. And if it's not inappropriate, I would like to make a motion that we send this back to the Public Art Committee to come up with a process specifically.
it is inappropriate, Christine. You are not the chair. You do
So
not get to say that
to-
you don't care for the process the chair used, which is what you're doing. You are not the chair. That is an inappropriate motion. We did the task that was assigned to us in the last commission meeting. We are not discussing the process the Public Art Committee used to do this. I know you disagreed with that process. You disagreed with every process that the Public Art Committee has done. That's not what is on the table. And I'm going to ask Louise, to please get an opinion from Matt Summers on this, because what you're doing is you're giving us your legislative legal opinion about whether or not this process works for the mural ordinance. So Louise, I think we should bring this back in December and have a legal opinion from Matt Summers. He is our lawyer, not you, Commissioner Steiner. Let's
thank the lawyer.
let Matt Summers say whether or not this process is appropriate for the mural ordinance. So that's what I'm asking to have happen. Bring this back next month with an opinion from the city attorney, because his is the opinion that counts. Is this okay? Does it comply with the mural ordinance? Because that's what you're saying, Christine, is that it doesn't comply. I understand that it does. You disagree.
Well, what I'm saying is we were charged by this commission to enact a process pursuant to the mural ordinance. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I hear what you're saying, Christine. And that's exactly what we did do. You are disagreeing and saying that this does not comply with the mural ordinance. So let's get our lawyer's opinion on this and bring it back next month with.
Well, it's actually not what I'm saying. That the committee has not yet agreed. I think it would be
the majority of the committee has agreed, Christine. The majority of the committee agrees. We will get an opinion from the attorney, since you are saying that this is not valid according to the mural ordinance. We will get an opinion from the attorney and bring it back in December.
Is that a motion?
It's not a motion. It doesn't need to be a motion. As chair, I am saying as chair that I will honor you're saying that you don't think that this legally follows the mural ordinance. So as chair, I'm saying, okay, let's get a legal opinion on that and we'll bring it back. We don't need a motion to do that. We just simply, the chair is saying, I hear what you're saying. You're disagreeing with it from a legal point of view. Let's get the legal point of view that counts our city attorney and bring it back.
To be clear, I'm not disagreeing from a legal perspective. I'm disagreeing from a commissioner perspective.
Yes, we understand that you have a minority point on this, Christine. We understand that. But it's not the majority of the Public Art Committee. The majority of the Public Art Committee would like to use the procedure that we used 100% successfully the last two times, with the exception of the Friday morning meeting. We do not think that that should be included. We think it was harmful. So I think I'm finished, Marcy, with this agenda item.
Okay, thanks. We'll move along. Next, the top, and because of the late hour, I don't know if you circulated that proposed December 14th joint City Council Arts Commission agenda, Louise? Were you able
No,
to
I apologize.
circulate?
I did not. I didn't have an opportunity to go ahead and do it, but if you'd like, I'm happy to go ahead and share it on my screen here so that way everybody could go ahead and view.
So can I just ask if there's a resolution to what we just talked about for the last 25 minutes?
Yes, there is a resolution. We are going to bring it back at the next meeting with an opinion from the attorney. Correct, Louise?
That is correct.
That's November, because I heard you mention December. There's not going to be a meeting in December.
I'm sorry, I should have said November. I'm a month ahead of myself.
All right. Well, don't wish your life away. None of us.
November.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Let me go ahead and share that agenda. Here we are.
So this is what I propose. Because of the late hour, I think you could study it. I don't know if anyone had a chance to do it before the meeting, and then you can email me with your suggestions.
And I'm happy to go ahead and circulate this to the commission here right after this meeting. Again, I didn't have an opportunity to do it before the meeting, but I'm happy to do it right after.
Okay, great. Okay. So that's what'll happen there. And the next thing are future agenda items.
Well, obviously, we could put on the, that we'll revisit the process for the Public Art Committee's task in assembling a jury for art projects that require some kind of a jury or review panel.
Received.
And we'll have the lawyer's opinion on that.
And quite obviously grants, which I trust will be the majority of our time.
Yes. Okay, no one else? All right.
I do have a question. Do you expect we will have a seventh commissioner by that time? Or an update on the process?
Yeah, hopefully we will. Yeah.
We will, which have someone in a seat or an update on where we are?
Hopefully someone in the seat, and if not, then you'll be updated.
Thank you.
Okay. Luis, do you want to give the staff liaison report?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's really not too much to share. What I'll go ahead and begin with is project subject to public art. We did receive an application for 216 East Matilha Street for a remodel. It's going to be converting an existing 19 square foot, one-story medical office into a two living work units. This project is pending review by the Planning Commission Director. So I do hope to have a little bit more information at the next meeting. Other than that, there's nothing else has changed in regards to project subject to public art. In reference to the public art fund, there has been a change, and that change is a positive change where we have received $150 for the docent-led tours that took place earlier this year. So that change again has gone up. Or the fund has gone up by $150. Other than that, that's pretty much it for my report.
Great. Okay.
Thank you, Louise, for keeping up on that. I so appreciate it.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Okay. Now is the time for commissioner comments. So raise your hand if you have a comment, and I'll call on you. Okay, Nigel.
Yeah, I'm going to speak very frankly and very clearly here, guys. I am coming rapidly to the conclusion that my time here is wasted, that there is a complete and utter lack of function on this committee, and that the energy that I have and the ideas that I have and the intelligence that I bring, whatever that may be better served off this commission. There needs to be some significant changes made to how people communicate, the communication itself, and what happens on this commission. Because all I see is nothing happening and a lot of people getting upset at each other. That's not what I'm prepared to do anymore. So I'm giving notice here that unless things change significantly on this commission, I'll be leaving it. Now, it's up to the rest of you to see whether you want me on it, whether you don't want me on it. But I will help the arts in this town, as I have done for the last 20 years. And I will continue to do that. I would prefer, and my preference is to do it from the seat on the Arts Commission, where I'm not prepared any longer to continue along the path that we've been going. So, that being said, I have respect for all of you. I understand everybody's positions, but I'm not going to be sitting in the middle and being a tennis net anymore while people are batting balls back over the top and whacking them into the net just for the fun of it. If people want to join me and make this better for everybody, and have clearer and better communication, open communication, honest communication, I'm all ears. Otherwise, you'll be getting my resignation before the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
I'd like to speak next, if I may. I absolutely echo what Nigel said, and I reinforce what Robin Gerber said in her resignation letter, which she did with equal parts resignation and frustration that there need to be changes on this commission. And I agree with Nigel that unless there is respect and attempts at collegial engagement, then my resignation will follow Nigel's.
All right, thank you. Eric?
Well, I wanted to say that the grants process is probably the most meaningful part of the Ohio Arts Commission been a part of, and I was really glad to be able to be a part of it and help people with their grants. And just like listening to them was very heartening. I'm sad to hear about Nigel and Christine's resignation. I understand their points of view, and I wish them well.
Well, I didn't resign yet, Eric.
You said, of course, you
stated
said.
a position.
Nor did
I don't know that Christine resigned either, but I've stated a position. I'm very, very serious about it. Is that I believe that I'm valuable where I'm at, but I also have complete and utter faith in myself that I'm valuable outside of the commission too. It's wherever I feel that I can do the most good for this community. If it's on the commission, great. If it's off the commission, then so be it. I prefer it to be on the commission.
Sorry for completely misunderstanding you. Thank you.
All right, Christine.
All right, so I want to give a shout out to Luis for an absolutely fabulous Ojai Day. I thought it was the best Ojai Day ever. And I also want to say that to see the paint box project done by Don Brow that served as a backdrop to the area where the kids all had their playground equipment, it almost looked like we planned it that way. It really set the whole thing off. And the other highlight for me was that for the first time ever, since there have been events at Libby Park, like festivals at Libby Park, the Trimpan Arch was working. And if you saw the way people reacted when they walked under the arch and it began to sound, it was just absolutely fabulous. So thank you, Luis.
Thank you.
I know you were working overtime on coordinating and planning that entire event. And I say, hats off to you. You did an incredible job.
Thank you. Thank you for the kind words.
Really
I
enjoyed
appreciate
it.
And Smitty.
How beautiful to hear from the artists in the town tonight. I'm sorry we only give them 2 minutes, but it's I feel like it's our commission to support them. And the discord here is unfortunate, but sometimes tension is the kind of thing that can promote change that will, support the people that deserve it, and that's our community. So, all right, I just wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, I want to say that I won't be conducting the next month's Arts Commission. I'll be in Europe, and Nigel, as vice chair, will be stepping in to handle that meeting.
Did Christine Assigner have anything to say?
She did.
Did I miss it?
I was right after you.
Oh, right. So someone who give me the cliff notes there?
She's 100% Nigel.
She agreed with it.
Sorry, perhaps my signal went out for a moment. Did I miss something?
I missed everything you said.
I think the rest of us, she was on to hear.
Yeah,
she agreed with you, Nigel. She said she agreed with you, and she would also resign if you resigned.
Oh, sorry. I thought I didn't realize that was Christine Steiner. Sorry.
Oh yes. Oh, sorry. Yes. Now I'm back. I did say that I would not agree with that recap. However, I do agree with the essence of that. Thank you.
All right. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.